Dio coming in hot to 2025. Thanks for the resub. How's it going, Dio? You could click the first redeem if you want. No one can stop you from doing that. Nobody also keeps track of that. All right, so it is the first day of 2025. Happy New Year, everybody. And we're going to pick up where we left off on Monday with one little exception, which is that I started looking at some PRs yesterday and I have to finish work on a PR, and then we can get back to where we left off. There you go. Now you are first, Dio. Now the whole world is keeping track. I'm going to bump all of this stuff down to here. Yeah. I submitted an appeal for the Idler Fest that's coming up for Steam. They said in their documentation that it's got to be obvious to a new player or customer, someone who's on Steam, to tell that your game fits the theme. So I added in this gameplay section here that talks about, like, look, this is kind of idle, not exactly idle, because we don't have a trailer, we don't have anything else. And then I submitted an appeal to see if we could appear in this festival. So I'm hoping they say yes. Then we got to produce a demo and everything. I think that's going to be interesting. Yeah, no idle in the title. Skella Idler. Hey, Dark. But if they say no, that's fine. I don't think this is like a make or break kind of thing. It's just, I think it would help. And I keep talking about the number of wish lists that we're up to. Let me share what it is now, at least. Sorry, it takes a little bit of time to get to this page. There's like a million clicks you got to do. It's currently at 377 total wish lists, which I'm pretty happy with. I think that's good. It's going up. Actually, I could just share this whole page. I shared this with the game team. Excuse me. But Botland, it says, is above the Steam average of 3,500 wish lists, which I don't know how that happened. Maybe because it was actually released and people want to keep an eye on it. But yeah, Skeleseller's at 384, minus 7, so 377. 0% conversion rate because you can't actually buy the game yet. Yeah. All right, so finish work on this PR. Fading the notification faster. Start fading now before the time is done. Using a tween can probably help make this clearer. Yeah, let's go check this stuff out. So I redid this scene a little bit. This is going to be like wave text, ... Then in instance.cs, we should hide that. That way you can still see it in the editor. We have ready here, rooms cleared label dot hide. There we go. And then down here, we need to set the text. I got to make this its own scene. Well, oh, I changed this to say wave text. It hasn't even updated. Weird. Let's see if it updates if I do this. Nope. What? I'm confused. It says, oh, I see. I changed the wrong thing. This is supposed to say wave text. All right, there we go. Now let's move this entire thing into its own scene. Save a scene. Assets. It's not an assets. Scenes. I guess battle, I think is fine. So I'll call it waves cleared panel or waves cleared notification. Yeah, it's a notification. Okay. Now if we're going to do that, we should probably rename this. So waves cleared notification. And then go into the scene, rename it there too. The rest of this stuff's all fine. We need a script and we need this to be accessed as unique name. And any rooms cleared stuff, we can just rename. So this would be waves cleared label. And I think that's it. Rooms cleared just needs to pull from the new thing now. Waves cleared notification. It's not even a label anymore, I guess. Waves cleared notification. All right, next up, let's go make the script. Attach script. Sure, sounds good. This is going to be pretty simple. We just need the label so that we can set the text on it. So private rich text label, get it. And then we need some kind of like set text thing here. Public void set text. It should know how to fill out the rest. Yeah, it didn't, but it kind of got there. Now we put this into a namespace. Game scenes battle. And then we pull this in. So this is now a waves cleared notification. Good. And then the final thing is commented out. We do a set text to this. And I think we're good. Let's try it out. There are 2 other small changes I need to make still. But then we can get this in. For context, Darkstorm started working on this. And I just wanted to change how it looks a little bit. How do we test this? Load from save and start, start a battle. Okay. Windy, happy new year. Good to see you. Hope you were doing well. And thanks for the raid. How's everybody? We are working on some small UI features here. Windy, I think you said your contract ends toward the end of January, right? So it's not a happy new year yet, it's just a new year. And he's like, Adam, stop reminding me. I hate this guy. Why did I raid him? That is correct. Okay. Well, new year to you. And instead of ta-da emojis, maybe it's just neutral face emoji. Another successful year for the waiting room. Thanks, Hep. Thanks for the resub. Thanks for putting Windy in his place. Non-contract is good. I like it. Yeah, I think it's just the associated busyness that comes with it. Man. Windy, do you like the pecking order of this stream? That half is here and then way down below with some wind sounds? Certain bearded man? Because if not, you got to put him in his place. I mean, you control the moderation scene over there. Yeah, that's fine by me. Okay. All right. Well, congratulations, King Hef. Finally found out what was causing the issue of the game crashing after clicking fast. Yes, I did. I posted a bug, and they basically said, don't do that, which I think that's fine. If I just search for crash here, I can show you. Author me here. And there's the issue. So yeah, they said, like, yeah, just don't use free here. Again, that's fine. I said, look, I'm happy with that, but maybe the documentation should say this. And this person said, we probably shouldn't even expose that API. Like, this only gives you a chance to mess things up. So why not just allow you to use Q-free? So yeah, I like that. Anyway, Wendy, what are you working on stream? Is it still artwork? Are you doing logic stuff? Are you getting closer to a launch? Star Gunner. Blam, coming soon on wishlist. Hey everybody, wishlist this game. It's not the game I normally tell you to wishlist. But look at that artwork. Look at those colors. Look at that slime. What do you think that slime's name is? It's probably something like, I forgot all the windy names. Winzen. Hey Ski. Hey Mr. Evil Rex. What's the item shaking in the thought bubbles? I don't see them shaking. I'm not sure if there's some like minor movements and maybe that's what you're seeing. I think that's just because they're moving by floating point pixel amounts, but the sprite can only render to integer pixel amounts. Not totally sure. Slime's name is Bob. Ooh, sorry. It's actually just Slime. And never got a name at birth. Excuse me. You know something I do not like about this is that it changes. Where did this thing go? It changes where this is located when I move it to its own scene. Be nice if I remembered where it went. I think that'll fix it. We still, it's saying can't cast in instance.cs line 76 to a, what? Did I not save this? Waves cleared? Huh, no, everything should have worked. I don't know why that is. Well, let's keep trying it. All right, load from save, click, click, click. Start battle. All right, so it does not show up. And then we just got to wait for this to finish. It should be pretty fast because I made the warrior do like 1 billion damage. And then this thing will pop up. Yeah. So this is what this looks like now. Previously, there was no way for you to know that there were even multiple waves in a battle. And now there is both a way to know ahead of time and a way to know as the waves are playing out. This only needs to show up at most the number of waves -2. So you only need to know that you beat wave 1 and that you beat wave 2. But then when you beat wave 3, you've won the battle. So you'll just see the same end screen you've normally seen. So yeah, I think this is legible. I think it's looking good so far. We have some other things we got to do here. But let's check in just this so far. I don't want to spend forever working on this stuff. Yeah, so we can't check this in. That makes the warrior do 1 billion damage. Also, we should have changed it to be the rogue doing 1 billion damage. Yeah, this is all looking good. All adventurer data. I mean, you could check it in. What would that send as a message? That we want super powerful characters in this game? We want you to struggle. Okay, so make the... I guess improve rooms cleared text. And I already wrote about this somewhere, so let's just go copy this somewhere. Yeah, here. Replaced room with wave. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm happy with this. All right, next up, we got a couple little things left to do with this, like I said. One is to fade it in faster and start fading it out, maybe a little bit sooner. Rename the maps usage. Okay, this one's super easy. Let's go do that really fast. We just search for the word room. Hopefully this shows up. We're calling it rooms count. I'm not going to change everything, I guess. There it is, rooms. We'll say waves. This is exposed to the user, so there, that was it. That's all we wanted to change. I'm not even going to test this. If the word rooms is fine, the word waves is fine. Same number of characters, same pluralization. Replace rooms with waves on the instance map. Happy New Year, Physitronic. Wish you a lot of success with Skeleseller in 2025. Thank you. Yeah, my general 2025 plans, and I don't know how many people are going to ask about this stuff, so I'll at least share it now. It's Skeleseller for the first half or so, and then making the digital organization course if Skeleseller didn't do well or doesn't do well. Something like that. And then after that, probably another game. That's my guess. Yeah, thank you for the raid, Wendy, and truly Happy New Year. I do hope it's a good year for you, and then I hope it gives you a lot of breathing room. Go rest. Go rest and eat and do whatever else. I am a demanding streamer. Hey, Smoo. Happy Smoo Year to you, too. Same to me. Thank you, Wendy. Very eloquently stated, too. Wish you a lot of success with those things, too. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I like the general plan. You know, one of the things that I had, my wife and I do a set of predictions every year. And we actually, I make like a Google sheet, and we have certain columns. So the question itself, something like, you know, will Skeleseller be successful or something like that. We define a little bit more than that. Then something like my answer, wife's answer, and then confidence levels. And this is 0 to 100%. We're a little unclear on whether this is helpful at all. And then the actual result and any notes about it. And we went through 2024's, and my wife won pretty substantially. She won by like 5 to 1. And we only had, I don't know, 10 predictions or something. And the reason it's only 5 to 1 is it's some we had the same answer, so I just didn't count it. And in some of those cases, we were both wrong. Anyway, we went and did the 2025 predictions. And one of the ones I had was something like this. And she's like, no, I don't think we should do anything based on our own lives that might be perceived negatively. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. There's a reason I brought all this up, though, and I've now forgotten. Now that I've gotten to this part of the story, I've forgotten why I brought it up. I don't know, something about Skeleseller success. There was a thread there. Who brought me here? Yeah, I don't know if this show's for you, but it says for me. Hey, Core, how you doing? Happy New Year. Oh yeah, that's why I brought it up. Is because I had something somewhere, maybe in the predictions or maybe just in a reminder to myself, something like, "Am I enjoying what I'm doing?" I think it was a prediction, and I said the answer would be yes, and I was like 80% sure that it would be yes. Looking back, I feel like 80% was a low confidence level for sort of the structure of everything. I'm surprised I wasn't even more confident that I'd be enjoying what I'm doing. The answer is yes, by the way. I am liking what I'm doing. And I think the reason why I was 80% is because originally I set out and I was like, this is Adam Learns 2.0. And it turned into Botland 2.0, which really, I just mean game dev by that. And I like game dev. So I generally liked the last year. And I didn't even dislike the first 4 months before I was doing game dev stuff. I think that was still fun too. I just think the traditional Adam Learns content that I was planning originally was more like a job, and game dev is slightly less like a job. Could be perceived really negatively if she says she thinks something will not be a success. Yeah. And I think she'd be honest about this stuff, and it probably would still sting, but I think it's good to at least talk about it and know that sort of thing. And she'd probably say like, oh, I don't have this sort of insight into that of like whether it's going to be good or not. Rebrand in 2025. I don't think I'm going to rebrand. I still feel like learning is central to this channel. And I also don't think having a channel be like ultra popular is important. I think if I'm going to do game dev on stream, that probably keeping to like somewhere between 100 to 300 people is a good target. A lot of people feel attacked when you tell me negative stuff. Yeah, I think it's important to understand why you have a negative view about something. So if it's because you want to help that person and you're like, hey, look, I don't see this with the same outcome as you, I think, that could be reasonable. If it's because you just want to rain on somebody's parade, that's pretty much never reasonable. And I think most people, when they hear negativity in their lives, it's just other people raining on their parade. It's not a, hey, I'm trying to be helpful. It's just like a, hey, you're going to fail at this. Not helpful at all. All right. So fading this stuff in faster. I think this happens here. Yeah, there's a bunch of call deferreds here. I think we can do this with a tween and possibly make this clearer. I want to test that out though. We have a tween, call method, I think. What is it called? Huh, okay, I don't know. But let's just search for tween, I guess. And we should be able to find something. I cannot remember what this is called. It had to be either method or function, right? Tween method. Okay, there it is. Yeah, tween method. I thought it was call method. I have one cousin in my family that's like that. Always negative, whatever you tell them. Oh, whatever you tell them, you'll do. I see what you're saying. Cousin always finds something negative about why you shouldn't do it. Yeah, and I find people who are super negative like that and are vocal about it are usually probably pretty bitter about their lives. I mean, I don't know your cousin, but I imagine they fall into that category of like their life is maybe not going great. So they vocalize that to everybody. And it's especially sucky because I really do think language plays a very powerful role in how you think. So if you're talking negatively all the time, you'll probably start thinking negatively. And if you start speaking positively, I think you'll be a little bit more positive. You'll start looking at things a little better. Hey Uber, happy new year. Excited to see more fruit this year from all your hard work on this game. The first thought that came to mind was, you mean this apple? But yeah, I hope there are lots of fruits from this labor. Wouldn't say their life isn't well. They have a mentality of it can always be better. Yeah, and personally, I think that can work. If you have a this can be better, I'm working to make it better, I think that can work. But if you're bringing everybody else down, I think it's bad. Okay, so I want to do this, and I want to see how this thing even works. This makes a callable of this. Okay, maybe this isn't any easier necessarily, but still, let's copy this, I suppose. Okay, we'll rename this to something like transition tween. Is set loops 0 needed? Excuse me. 0 means it'll run infinitely? Oh man, it's really hard to read this with all the other stuff. Make it run twice. Without arguments, we'll make it run infinitely until it's killed or it's freed. Yeah, I want it to run once. I wonder what it does by default. It probably runs once by default. Let's just not call it and see what happens. And maybe check to see when it's done. All right, so what are we doing here? We are fading in, then we're waiting for some amount of time, then fading out, then going to the next stage. So we don't need to wait for some amount of time. That's something that the tween can do, I guess. So the fade in happened over the course of 1 second. I want to make it happen over the course of like 0.5 seconds. So we need a callable for this. I guess fade functions dot fade in. Fade in. And this takes in a float, I believe. Although it's still complaining about that. Oh no, it takes in a lot of things. It doesn't just take in a float. It takes in a canvas item, a duration. Canvas item duration. Cannot convert from method group to system.action. We had this working over here. What was different about this? Either that it was private or that it didn't have default parameters. I mean, we could test both of them. We could certainly do this and put this in the ease type in here. And if that somehow fixes this, then great. If it doesn't, then maybe we need a local function. Has the wrong return type. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. What is a return type? Returns a tween. Oh, I see. Maybe this is a bad idea then. Hey, too, Bob. Yeah, I think it's important to recognize what you're doing well. I think it's rarely that you'll find anyone in their lives that's doing everything wrong. Chances are doing something right. I think we tend to look at things in black and white, especially when it comes to reviews of things. Man, I think to ever rate a movie on IMDb a 1 is like people just have a different rating scale from me, I suppose. But probably something was good. The cinematography, the audio, the script, the acting, it's like rarely is every single one of those things bad. But I guess that's what people probably treat it as. Like, oh, if it is as bad as I've seen, it might have had some redeeming qualities. That's a 1. And maybe that's how people look at their own lives too. Tell you good job for any little thing you do. Reduces the value of their encouragement. That seems a little extreme to me. It's like if you ask someone, hey, how are you doing? And they're like, good, what about you? And you're like, oh, they didn't actually tell me how they're doing. They just gave me a 1-word response. I think good job isn't meant to be like, hey, this is the best work you've ever done and no one else could have done it this way. It's just acknowledging like, hey, I appreciate what you did. If you can't rate anything a 1, can you also not rate anything a 5? Yeah, so I don't want to get too stuck on the movie thing for a sec because it was just to say that I think people will look at their own lives this way and just be like, oh, I'm doing all the good things well that other people also do well. But yeah, I think the rating stuff is like a lot of people, not a lot maybe, but I see people online saying like, I can't rate it a 10 because the most perfect movie I've ever seen is a 9. So it's like, okay, you constrained the ratings now from like 3 to 7. It's just a different scale, but then it's a different scale from what everybody uses, I guess. Unless somehow, on your deathbed, you're like, that movie was a 10. Yeah, so getting a tween out of this, I think we can connect tweens to other tweens here. This is what the next little bit of time is going to be. It's just figuring out how are we supposed to do this. Can you join to another one? I mean, if you can't officially, oh, chain. Used to chain two tweeners after set parallel is called with true. Oh, very interesting. But that's not exactly what I want. But this is pretty powerful. Create delays in the animation as an alternative to using a delay in other tweeners or when there's no animation. Okay. I'll look this up. You have a 4 or 5 rating on everything. I ask myself what reasonable thing could have been done better. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to ask. Yeah. A tween of tweens. Well, the functionally I can accomplish this two ways, and one of them is to use this method that already exists over here, but this one returns a tween, so I need to like join on it or do something. Alternatively, I need to change this to not return a tween but take one in, and it adds this property that needs to be set. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know for sure. Join two tweens. Do I can run both of them simultaneously? This is just run in parallel they're asking about. Multiple tweens. I know you don't even need multiple ones. Yeah. All right. Maybe we've got a little bit of an anti-pattern. Hey, Rami, I do have YouTube chat open too. Oh, surely there can't be a world where you can tween between two ones. No. What I'm talking about here is I have like, let's say like size tween. Why is, the Z isn't typing. Well, that was weird. I have size tween and I have, let's say like position tween. Is there some way to say like size tween dot run dot then run position tween? That's what I'm getting at. Like, how would you join these? Like, you can join threads, and maybe let's do that. And that everyone is probably just going to be saying use one tween for this, and that's fine. We could do that. I just want to make sure there wasn't a way to do it differently. Ah, here it is: sequencing and chaining. Hmm. I'm guessing this is what led to the chain command that they have. All right. I don't think this is important then. Yeah, we can just do this. We need to set the modulate first though. All right, well, that's a shame. Okay, so the thing that we're modulating here is the waves cleared notification. Waves cleared notification. So we set the modulate of that. It's already, well, no, it's actually not showing. In fact, we could set the modulate before this, I guess. And we want to create this on the thing that needs to be shown. Yeah. Actually, it really doesn't matter where we put it. All right. Hey, Laird. Happy New Year. Shorter way to create and bind a tween. You can use node.createTween. Used to chain two tweeners after set parallel. Yeah, that's all on one tween and two tweeners, which is kind of a weird word, but also slightly different methodology here. Are any of the Gen AIs good at Godot? I think Copilot's been at least decent at being a smart autocomplete, and for that I'm happy. But I haven't really tried it for generating a whole lot of stuff. All right, duration here, let's say 0.5 seconds. Transition type, I don't care to customize this. So it's going to be quad and out. quad and out. This is transition, not type. What is it called? Ease type. Never mind. Does not have transition in the name. Okay, so this is going to fade it in. Then we want to wait for some amount of time. And that's what this does, right? Creates and appends an interval tweener. This method can be used to create delays in tween animation. Yeah. I don't know how long I want to wait. So let's just type in a number and we'll have to test this out anyway. Then we want to start fading out. But before it's finished, we want to go to the next stage. And maybe we should wait for a little bit longer here. It used to just wait probably 2 or 3 seconds in total. So now we modulate this back down to 0. And what would that use? Linear and then out? Okay. And then after some amount of time, and these ones should be run in parallel, we want to call go to next stage. That is going to be tween method. You know, actually, I just wanted to call a method when it's... I don't want to do this. I could just have a timer that does this, that's running separately. And then the timer just knows how to clear itself. That might work. Yeah, that might work. All right, so we get rid of all this stuff. And we change to a timer equals new. Wait time is equal to... All right, so it fades in over half a second, then it waits 1.5 seconds. Then it fades out. Why is this here twice? Then it fades out over maybe 1 second. So I think after like 2.5 seconds, that is actually pretty good. Okay, cool. Timer.oneShot equals true. Add child timer. Timer.start 2.5. We don't even need to wait time now. Can be simplified, sure. And then when it's done, what is it? Oh, it's timeout, right? When this thing times out, we call go to next stage. We'll call the deferred one, but I don't know if that's needed. In fact, we could just simplify this whole thing. Hey, retired Android. Happy New Year. You want to change this to run the fade out before the monsters are spawned? I want the monsters to spawn before the fade out is finished. But like close to when it's done. That way it doesn't feel like it's waiting the entire time. But we'll see what it feels like because it might feel bad. So I'm not totally sure. All right. I think let's try that. The overall goal from a player perspective here is just the player knows what's going on. So if they feel like they know what's going on, then we're good. The other thing I wanted to try is animating the ellipsis. Can't you just leave the old code and split the await task into smaller intervals? Yeah, but I think it's clearer to have tween for this stuff. And that way we don't need these deferred functions to be here. And then also I can start animating the ellipsis, which I also wanted to do. That way it's clear that something's happening here. Although that also might not look good. I don't know. There are a lot of things where it's like, this is how it would look in my head. And maybe it doesn't play out that way. All right, so the battle should finish pretty quickly because the rogue is killing everything. It fades in. It fades out. It does not ever do anything after that. Timer was not added to the scene tree. What? It was added right there. Oh, you can't start it until after it was added? Okay, that's fine. Oh, let's try that again. I should probably have this thing just automatically run here. We just need the rogue in the battle too. We don't even need anybody else. We have 2 of 3. Starts fading out. Nice. Yeah, I think it looks good. That's what I was picturing at least. So now we just need to animate the ellipsis. Yeah, Darkstorm, wait until I've finished the rest of this, because I think it'd be less clear if there were the animation of the ellipsis as well. Okay, so that's the last bit of this. Yeah. So we can delete this. And then we want to change the text on the notification. Where do we set that originally? I guess we can just add dots. Where do we have a dot right now? Right here. Yeah. So we have to set it to whatever its current text is. Maybe we could have an append text. Animation can be done in the scene of the notification. Actually, that's true. It could be. We could have a timer in this. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. All right, let me put a to do here. Animate the ellipsis. Okay, so we don't need this. See how Dark is suggesting is doing something like, oh, interesting. That's not delay. Something like this here, where we say like 1500, then a delay over here of maybe 500. This has the times built into fade functions. So this is going to run a tween. We won't know when it's done. Yeah, so we're counting on this number being at least as big as the default parameter of this. I get that we could just pass this in and then we would know for sure. And then here it's less of an issue. Yeah. As opposed to putting everything on one tween, having a timer here. I just don't like this idea of call deferreds existing. Like the tween ensures that this happens in the right spot. In fact, I think this can just be go to next stage. And we can even delete the deferred function that we have. Why is this asynchronous? Oh, wait. Oh, that's not what I wanted, right? This isn't even go to next stage deferred. This is like the cleanup of it. Interesting. Interesting indeed. I guess it's because we had a call deferred here that we got to rename this. Rename this since it is just the second part of navigating to the next stage. Okay, so yeah, I think the big difference between these two ways of doing things is whether or not you have these deferred calls in here. And I don't think it's needed. I think the tween will get that to work for us. It'd just be nice if there was a way to join on these tweens, because then this would look like this: transition tween dot, join fade functions dot fade in. It's just, and I could change fade functions to take in a tween and do this. And if one wasn't passed in, it could create one. And then it would be fine. We could use this. I wonder if that's worth doing. Does anything customize these, by the way? Why do we have multiple parameters for this? If, okay, one thing is, two things are. Okay, It's fine. Fine as being used. So what would this look like if we were to make a new one here? We'd always have this return a tween, but we could potentially pass in a tween. Tween existing tween question mark equals null. And then here what we'd do is we'd say if tween is null, then tween equals item not create tween. And we delete that. And tween does not exist in this case. I'll call it existing tween, I guess. Well, yeah, call it existing tween. Use compound assignment. Ah, sure. Actually, that's not too bad. Yeah, I would hardly change this. And most functions aren't going to pass anything in for this anyway. So then what we could do is we could call this over here and say fade functions dot fade in. This over the course of 0.5 seconds and then pass in the transition tween. And then this would go away. And then same thing for this, which I never wrote fade out, but imagine if I had. And this was over the course of 1 second. And then this would go away too. Yeah, okay, I like this. This gets rid of the deferreds. Yeah, I think I want to go with this. Using Godot today is kind of like using Unity 15 years ago. Wild west of unwritten libs and people rolling their own. It's fun. I mean, aren't people still rolling their own Unity libraries? They're just selling them on the asset store afterward? Because my understanding is there are still a few popular Unity libraries that a lot of people download. This is going to change how this other stuff works. For now, what we could do is we could just, because this can't be null, we could pass this in and we could just say return fade in item duration null. Yeah. This just prevents me from having to change the callers, but I probably just should change the callers. All right, let's do the same thing for fade out. Tween existing tween equals null. Then just put this down here. Rename that, and we're good. I think that feeling of the Wild West, it comes in from the engine's sort of untested APIs. And I don't think that's a good thing necessarily. Because there's no gold rush for being the first Godot game to launch. Let's say right now we have like the App Store and we have the Google Play Store. Imagine if there was some new kind of phone. I don't know. Picture Intel makes a phone. And I guess in addition to that, picture Intel makes an App Store. This would have a gold rush. There'd be a bunch of people who'd be like, I need to be first so I can get all the ratings and reviews and popularity that comes with that. I can redo what other people have done, but on this platform. I guess a better analogy here is like VR, AR. There were a lot of games that already existed before we got to the point where VR was like in consumer hands. And at that point, you could make like VR horror game number 473. And if you were one of the first ones to do it, it's like, oh, cool. We get to blaze a new trail here and we get all those eyes on us. Okay, so now we can delete this. We don't need this. And then the only question is, can we do this without a timer? We can call a method when the tween is finished, but we'll only know that this is finished. Alternatively, we could chain together a tween interval and a fade out. Interesting. That might work, and I'm curious if it does work. Create tween dot set parallel. Above 2 are finished. Okay, I think I know how this will work. We do a transition tween dot chain. Oh, capitalized. Dot run parallel. That's a set parallel. Oh, it's set parallel there too. I thought it was run parallel. Set it to true. And then we run a fade out and a tween interval on this. And now let me think about this. This was 2.5 seconds. So minus 2, so this would be 0.5. And then after that's done, we would call a method. Actually, all we care about is the finished of this. But we really only care about the finish of this. Yeah, I think this is probably clearer with a timer. Yeah. Okay. And then just the animation we'll do somewhere else. And we got to rename this. And this should only be used here. So what is it actually doing? This is more like, oh, hey, nice. Lacks a weight. So we can get rid of that, right? Yeah. Yeah, this can now be void. And it shouldn't be called go to next stage. Although this is only used from one place. Yeah, only one place. It should be like start transition to next stage. And this will be something like finish transition to next stage. All right. Now there's one other issue that I'm noticing, which is we have the word stage, the word room, and the word wave. All right, well, the word stage appears in a bunch of places. Does the word room appear in a bunch? Room spawn data. Yes, and the word wave is the user-facing one, so it's going to appear in some of these. Yeah. All right, well, we're not going to do anything about that yet. Does a garbage collection of sorts clean that up once it's done in Godot? I think it should. I will look that up really fast. Where's one shot? Here it is. Timer will stop after reaching the end. Okay, nothing will automatically in the timer code itself, but this exists in the instance, and the instance will eventually go away. So will the timer. So yeah, it should be fine from that point of view. Okay, I like these function names. The last thing was animating the ellipsis. Yeah, no, it's a good thing to ask too. Because in a game with automatic battles, it means if every battle is causing a leak and players doing it automatically, that you could get up to several hundreds of battles. Oh, if the leak is like 1 byte or something, or 10 bytes, it's probably not going to make a difference. But yeah, it's good to know. Okay. Any other deferred functions here? Because they wouldn't have a reason to exist. Any other async, any await? No, yeah. All right, nice. And now this doesn't need the underscore equals. In fact, even this can go up to here, start transition to next stage. Where's the number of stages? Total num stages. Why do we even make a variable out of this? I don't know. But we can do the same thing here. Total num stages. All right. And that's the usage of all of these, right? Yep. All right, good. So now for the animation over here, animate the ellipsis. So how do I want to do this? I want to make sure it's been faded in already, I guess. No, it could be animating as it's fading in. I don't think it really matters. So let's do it on a timer. It's not a one-shot timer. I guess we could just set one shot equals false in here. We're going to start it and we're going to have it be like 0.4 seconds. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And this will be called animate ellipsis. All right, private void animate ellipsis label dot text plus equal dot. And now in proper ellipsis fashion, num dots added. I'm not going to just let this go infinitely. We're going to keep track of this. And if you've already added 3, then just return. Okay. Hey, who cares? Happy New Year. All right, let's see how this looks. So now when this label comes in, it'll say wave 1 of 2. Wait, no, yeah, wave 2 of 3, and then it'll print out like dot, dot, dot. And it should hopefully look good. Fate is ambiguous between the following. Yeah, I figured. I would need to pass in the tween specifically as being null. We should just delete this function. Now it's going to complain about other parts of this. And we'll just have to label the parameters. Yeah. Argument 3 cannot convert for this. So this is transition type. What did I call that? I called it transition type. Makes sense. Transition type. All right. We set back to 1 dot and animate in a loop a few times, depending how long the pop-up shows over. Yeah, that's true. I think that could potentially look good. I think this is showing for a total of maybe 2 seconds, so it might look like it's pretty fast, but that's what we're about to test out because I don't know what it's going to feel like. All right, so that didn't work at all. Huh. I don't know what happened here. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. It didn't render anything. Did it even go into this function? It did. Num dots added is 3. What's the text? What? Can you not append to the text, I wonder? Animate their scale? Are you saying... No, wait. What would be the reason for doing that? Why does this not work how I expect it to? No, it does work how I expect it to. Something else must be going wrong. Maybe it's that we're reusing... No, it didn't even show in the first place, though. I was going to say maybe we're reusing this notification. Well, I'm confused. Let's try this one more time. Because technically what this is going to do is push the text a little bit. And if we don't want that to happen, we could just left align it. And then it would just push the panel's width a bit. But I think since this is centered, I think it'll look fine. And yeah, we just have to wait and see. Did this not restart? Okay. Load game. Do that, and wait. Oh, it's getting hit immediately. Oh, because this exists. Okay, I see what's going on. Yeah, so we add the ellipsis and then later we set this thing here. All right, well, the set text call is when we would want to start this thing. So we could just start the timer in here. It'd be kind of weird to do that. Start animating ellipsis. And maybe we even set num dots equals 0. Okay, that should work. Yeah. All right, load. Put the rogue into a battle. Okay, I mean, it looks decent. Let's see that again. Also, it looked like it was faster the second time around. Yeah, it's definitely faster because we're starting multiple timers. So we need to keep track of the timer that we have. Private timer equals null. Actually, this could just be null. So here what we'll do is we'll say if timer is actually, yeah, sure, not equal to null, then just free it. Null check can be simplified. Good. All right, the reason I did this is because I wanted to look at it again and see it back to back because I'm not perfectly happy with the timing, and it's not the kind of thing I want to spend an hour on, but I want to spend a tiny bit to figure out if I can make it look just a little bit better. Hmm. It's not bad. No, yeah, it's not bad. Maybe just wait a tiny bit longer for the very first bit. It's like 0.6 and then it's 0.4 when we start it up again. Timer dot. Actually, we could just do this and then not make it one shot. So timer dot start 0.6 and the other two will be 0.4. Yeah, nice. We'll put that at the bottom to make it a little bit clearer. All right, I'll try that. Then, like I said, that's it. Change the time the notification is showing to be 0.1s shorter. I think the length is good. I want to look at what it used to be before this PR because I don't remember what we had it set to. I don't remember if it was 2 seconds or 3 seconds, but it was probably one of those two numbers. 2 seconds. Okay, and how long are we waiting now? Fading in and then waiting for 2 seconds and then transitioning 2.5. Okay, so we did add a half second, but in my mind, the reason why I had done this is because you need some amount of time to absorb that there's text there. And maybe we could speed it up a little bit. Otherwise, you won't want to do battles with multiple waves. I think that looks pretty good. No, no, no. It'll feel bad that way. I think we need to make it be a little bit faster. Maybe make this be a little bit faster. And then even make that 2.5 seconds be a tiny bit faster, maybe like 2.3. Let's try that now. Because I do want to shorten this time if I can. There does need to be some amount of delay there just so that you're not like, why did new enemies appear all of a sudden? That definitely can't just immediately skip to the next phase. But it doesn't need to be too long. Hmm. There. Shorten that even more. Maybe shorten that by the tiniest amount of time too. The nice thing about this is if you're ever seeing this once, you're probably seeing it for the rest of the game. We will maybe have some one phase dungeons in the end, but yeah, you'll probably be doing auto battles here. And eventually it'll just be like, oh, that text means that I'm on the next phase. Okay, cool. I understand. That's what I expect to happen. Because for the first, whatever, like 7 dungeons, there are not multiple rooms. It's just one. So you would never see the text. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like this. I think this is good. I think it's readable. So now let me put myself in the shoes of someone who's never seen this game before, and I'm like, oh man, I just won the battle. Wait, no, I didn't. Wave 2 of 3. Yeah, I think it's long enough to read it. 43 downloads, nice. Is there a way to get feedback on it? Like, are there reviews or something? I don't remember how Docker Hub works. All right, so we animate the ellipsis here. We can delete this stuff. Yeah, this is good. This didn't even change the number of lines of code, which is nice. This did, but I added in the timer to make it transition differently. I also put this line here when it didn't need to be there. But yeah, that lets us get rid of the deferred calls. So I guess these are deleted. And any of the async await stuff is deleted too. Okay, not bad. In fact, if you look at it, there's 4 lines different, and the 4 lines are just the timer I added. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's 4. Never mind. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm happy with this. Okay, so what do we do here? Change transition between an end of battle. The timing is slightly different, and the waves text now animates its ellipsis. The code changed slightly too, which allowed us to get rid of the deferred calls. In fact, where do we have deferred calls now? That's fine. What about this? In the throttler. I never liked this. And I'm the one who did this, but I never liked this. Although this is not something that would be tweened. But yeah, I want it to not show you that you've reached the maximum amount of money too often, which is why we have a throttler, and it's just awkward syntax for it. Yeah. But anyway, it's exciting. Who cares? I think it's nice to see other people use your stuff. And ideally, it's nice to see them comment positively on that too. But just usage is the baseline for that. They need to use it before they can say that it's good. All right, cool. All right, so we sync this and we merge this and we move on. So now this should be here. Yep. All right, squash and merge. All right, that's done. Next, we go back to actionable items in the game. I'm going to need to take a break before this, but I want to see where we left off before I do that. We wanted to add in the buildings button. So it was this UI that we're making, this set of buttons on the side. And let's switch back to main here. And then open this and click this button. Close out everything else. Yeah, the buildings button. I mentioned this on Monday, but I'd be totally fine with this taking the rest of the day. And I don't think it's going to take the rest of the day. But you never know. But if it does, that's totally fine. Honestly, even if it bled into tomorrow a little bit, it'd be okay. But any more than that, and I'd be a little disappointed. So yeah, so what we added in, we always had this adventurers button here. And if you built the town hall, you would get the town perks button. But that was it. That's all we had. Now, when you build the tavern, you'll have a... Uh-oh. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, it's the wrong branch. None of this code is going to work. Get checkout actionable items. Okay, my bad. Let's try that again, but this time with the actual code it's supposed to control it. And maybe we should rebase. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so this time I mean it. All right, yeah, you can see there's a higher adventure button. But yeah, when you create the town hall, you get the town perks just like before. When you create the tavern, you get the quest button. And a quest button is green if you have a quest you can access. So we click accept and it breaks because we're in a dev build right now. And then the other thing you can get, What else is supposed to be there? Adventure Tire, Adventure Town, Perks, Quest. No, that's it. We got to make the next two. Hey, Chronic, Happy New Year. All right, so we're going to code these two buttons today, and I'm just going to take a quick break before that. Is it jump time? It's jump time. For those who've never seen this, just type join in Twitch chat and then J in a number. And you can jump. The goal is to get as high up in this world as you can. Have fun. I'll be back in a little bit. All right, there's some competition toward the end. GG Darkstorm. Close the game. All right, let's get to work. Switch back to my branch. I even had that written down and just forgot about it. So, oh, I'm already in the task. All right, it should only show up when a sign is present in town, indicating that something can be built or upgraded. Note the slime and any upgrades to buildings aren't really buildings per se, but I can't think of a better term. Yeah, let's not worry about the terminology yet, especially because the term can just be changed by fixing one string because we don't have localizations yet. So something needs to tell us that the signs are visible, and I don't know what better to do that than the signs class. And yeah, we got to go add in this button. Let's go do that. Town menu. This one should be below this buildings button. This will say buildings. The tooltip will say, what does this pop up? It's some new UI. Yeah, buildings and upgrades available for your town. Show buildings and upgrades available for your town. Do I put periods at the end of this? Yes. All right, so that's the buildings button. Let's go get that button now. For those who don't know what just happened, every once in a while, VS Code just needs to be reloaded. I don't know why, but it's annoying. It doesn't even take a very long time. It's just you try to do something, it doesn't work, and you're like, I guess I got to reload. Okay, so when you press this, it's going to open up the new UI. Buildings but not pressed is toggle buildings panel or buildings menu. Yeah, maybe that. We don't have this code yet. We don't have the UI. That's what we're about to make. So for now, we're just going to say write the code for this. And put this down here. So we'll have the button there, but now we need to control its visibility and everything. So it should listen for whenever a sign becomes visible or goes invisible. So we're going to need some sort of like sign visibility changed function. Make a sign visibility changed event for this. Maybe a little misleading as the upgrades come from somewhere else, right? The upgrades technically come from multiple locations. So your town perks has one set of upgrades, but another set of upgrades is like you have the enchanter and you go build the next crystal, or you have the warehouse and you go build the next 4 item displays. Those are upgrades. They're just I don't know. Yeah, I think we need to put some time into figuring out what we call this and how we word this. And I don't have a good idea for that yet. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I transitively looked at it like the town contains your building, so upgrades to your buildings are really upgrades to your town as well. Shows buildings, shows available buildings and their upgrades. How about that? Yeah. Hey, we leave tonight. I think, of course, you say not to use an external IDE. When and how should you change over to something like VS Code? Not for GDScript back in 2020. Now I don't know what the experience is like, but at least in 2020 with GDScript, it was like you should really just be using Godot. But that's because there were a bunch of problems. I think I even mentioned it in the video that is somewhere, not necessarily for that, but if it's past 2020 or you're on a new version of Godot, then feel free to try this stuff out. So if you do want to try VS Code, give it a shot. If you run into problems, maybe consider going back to Godot. But that might be fine now. I tried it back in April of this year, and the only thing I ran into is my auto formatter kind of just messing everything up in VS Code. So I would save a file, and let's say you saved it with a syntax error. Let's say you had something like you're calling a function and you forget the closing parenthesis. Then it doesn't know how to interpret all the other lines of code down here. So what it would do is it would like auto format them such that they lost all the spaces that they had. And since GDScript is space delineated and tab delineated, then if you have a function like whatever, like if foo bar, if baz quux, something like this, and then all this gets slammed to the left side, this breaks your build and it changes your logic, and it was a gigantic problem. So if you don't run into that sort of thing, then yeah, by all means use VS Code. And thanks for watching the course. I hope it's been helpful for you. Hey Trackley, Happy New Year. Does it have internationalization support built in for all the text? I believe so, yeah. Yeah, and we have a proof of concept PR for doing that. The thing is, if all you're going to do is launch it in English, then any localization work you do is a waste of time, right? Well, assuming you speak English to begin with. Otherwise, I guess you're localizing it to launch in English. And so I think what we're going to do eventually is switch to this style of doing things. I'll show you the example that we have here. Yeah, so you just put a bunch of IDs and strings, and that's it. And that's what English will look like. But then you need to be mindful whenever you're building something. You're creating a lot of work to make sure you're not going to like truncate buttons by having long strings, that you actually have localized everything, that you're formatting numbers correctly. So I think we'll switch to that eventually. And hopefully Skeleseller is popular enough for us to want to release it in other languages. Yeah, I think the course is still good. I rewatched it in the last year, And I think there are still some valuable parts of it, because at least the philosophy of Godot has been pretty much the same. But some of the APIs will have changed. Some of the caveats will have changed. They probably have fixed some bugs that I talk about. Okay, so we'll need an event here, and we don't currently have one. So public event action. We want to take in a sign. Is this even going to make sense? Because at some point, we need to be able to fetch all of the buildings or signs that we would want to show. And I think it's going to be here. So what we really need well, let's just write that function somewhere, I guess. Public, I don't even know what we'll return exactly. I guess it's got to be a list of like building available. Building details. Get available buildings. And then I'm just going to sketch something out here. This would contain a name and price. Is it going to let you build it or just navigate the camera to it? Did I say? This just centers the camera on the tavern. I didn't write it for the building. I don't know. I guess it could center it and pop up the sign's text. Yeah, maybe it takes in a sign then as well. A name, a price, and a sign to center the camera and simulate a click. Thoughts on Elixir? I've never used it, so I don't have any thoughts. I think the town could query to see how many signs exist. Yeah, well, that's what this would be. This is like which signs are available. So what I'm thinking is we don't even need to take in a sign necessarily. We could just have say something like sign visibility changed. And then this will get called every time a sign is hidden or shown. And it's assumed that you'll see what available buildings are. I guess we could just pass in the list of available buildings. Why wouldn't we do that? Yeah. What am I doing? That goes there. All right. Hey, 3D Extended, Happy New Year. Hope you're having a good 2025. Did you do your typical tradition last night? I am almost certain the answer is yes. But do you have a new sheet of paper with all of your resolutions? So this could be private then, or at least I'm hoping it could be private. We probably need to populate that list somehow. All right, so anytime a sign is shown or hidden, this is going to be a little bit annoying, but I guess we just need to get every single sign that exists and then listen for its visibility changing. They all inherit from the same thing, right? Signpost. They better. Yeah, I think they all do. We should probably make sure of that, because how many signs do we have in the game? Oh. Signs. We don't have signs. We have them in the town scene directly, I guess. Probably should change that too. All right, so here are all the signs. Is there a way to copy the names of all of these? I doubt it. No. All right, well, that's fine. Guild, alchemist, blacksmith, armor smith, warehouse, vault, enchanter, town hall, recycler, tavern, and explorer. All right, so there are all the signs. Now we need to make sure that signpost encapsulates all of them. I'm going to take a picture of this so I can put it side by side. So here we have explorer, recycler, tavern, town hall, guild. Yeah. And now there's a build and upgrade sign. Can all these be upgraded? Yeah, I guess it can. Oh, okay. Those should all fit in a build and upgrade sign now. Let's go take a look at that. Alchemist, blacksmith, armor smith. Oh, shop sign. I see. Yeah. And then warehouse, vault, enchanter. Warehouse, vault, enchanter. Enchanter. These all have their own things. Build and upgrade. Build and upgrade. Build and upgrade. Okay, yeah, they're all signs. Good. So yes, we can just have it on shop sign then. This is equally long. 3 things for stress management and mental health on the list. Nice. Nice. Bravo. I hope it helps guide your 2025. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is we have all the signs here. We get them, we set a signpost, we listen for the visibility changing. We have, I think, an event for that. Yeah, oh wow, look at that. We even have it already in signpost. So we could just make an event here, public event action on visibility changed. Now, technically, we already have it. This is public, right? Yes, it's already public, so we don't need a second one. Helped last year? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it will help. I think just having those things on your mind, I think it's essentially like the tenant system that I have. There's just some repeated interval at which you look at this thing. It reminds you of what you valued, and you hopefully continue to value those things. And if that changes, then fine, you drop the values. Already pinned on the fridge. Do you ever have people come over and ask you about it? We have a bunch of stuff on our fridge, and we get a lot of questions. So I want this to go over here. We need to keep track of every sign. Now, technically, they're all signs underneath this, so we can just get them all at once. I don't know if we need to fetch them all, so I'm just going to do it this way. We'll say for each signpost in get children dot type signpost. All right, visibility changed. There we go. Now, I wonder if this is called only when it definitely changes. Emitted when visibility, hidden or visible changes. It sounds like it is, and even the name makes it sound like it is. But if you call hide 3 times in a row, will it get invoked once or 3 times? And yeah, I hope it's once. But I'm not super concerned. And getting the available buildings shouldn't even be that hard to do. It's just iterate over all the signs and then figure out which ones haven't had their buildings get built. And I don't know if we have a way of easily doing that. Nope. Nope. Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Well, we got some work cut out for us here. Mostly friends that know about them anyway. My wife used to collect magnets from places she went to visit. So if she went to a different country or a different state, she'd get a magnet from there and put it on the fridge. And now it's been a long enough time where we have most of our fridge space covered, so she stopped getting those magnets. Do you have the extra letters on your fridge? Extra letters? What do you mean? Like alphabet letters? I don't know if this is a reference to something or if we're just talking about like these things. Like, yeah, you are talking about these things. Okay, no. But for a while, we had these word magnets, and they had simple English words like "and" or "the" or "love" or "where" or something like that. And we only kept a few of them. And now it says, I think it says, "I'm in love about you," because there was no "with." So that's written on our fridge. All right, well, we're going to slowly build this up. I don't think it's going to be all that difficult, but yeah. You have company over, they end up spelling something vulgar. Yeah, feel like, did we ever have them? I don't think we ever had them. I think the last time I had them was in college. And at some point, people just sort of ignore them. It's only when new people come over that they're like, ooh, this looks fun. Printed some photos of the places I visited as magnets, and those are my fridge. Yeah, I think that's nice. Yeah, we have all sorts of stuff. We have the magnets. We have some pictures that my wife drew. We have some photos. We have some like functional things. Like there's a little holder that's got tape or a letter opener or something like that. A notepad. Just front is just sort of a mess, I guess. Private list, sign, post, all signs. All right, so that's going to be this. And this is an IEnumerable, yeah. So we don't need to be a list for the sake of iterating over it, but we eventually need to be a list for being able to find out which buildings exist. TypeScript versus C#, which is better? I think that's in the eyes of the programmer / team working on something. I think that in terms of language capabilities, they're both about the same in my mind. I think C# is maybe a little bit easier just because you don't have to transpile to another language. You compile to the common language runtime bytecode. And just that is more standardized to me than transpiling to JavaScript or something. But yeah, in terms of capabilities or something, I feel like the way you measure that something is better than anything else, whether you're talking about like fruits or programming languages, is that you pick some dimensions along which to analyze them. So in the case of fruits, maybe it's taste, maybe it's color, maybe it's cost, maybe it's whatever, how much you can strip paint by throwing it at something. And with programming languages, it's not just what is better, it's like what might be faster or more succinct or easier for people to learn or safer or more well supported or has a better community. So yeah, I think it's not such a simple question. And you need to almost know something about the person asking it to be able to fill in the blanks for them. So for example, if I don't know anything about cars and I'm like, hey, what's the better car? Someone could know that I don't know anything about cars and then be like, well, for you, since you asked this question with like almost total ignorance, then maybe this car is best. And I mean, I'd be like, okay, cool, sounds good. Like I might not care about the minutia behind it. So yeah, if you have any sort of criteria, I think it'd be easier to analyze. Yeah. How goes the dev? Hey, Titanium. It goes well. We are finishing the work on that mock-up that I did the other day. And we've finished the hire adventure button, the quest button. So now we're on the buildings button. And this was going to be the most involved one for a couple of reasons. One, we have to figure out what buildings even can be built still. Excuse me, which hopefully won't be too tough. And then also we need to pop up a new UI with then the build buttons for all those things. So that's what we're working on now. So this is going to be this that we're invoking. We get all available buildings. So here we need to form available building details, which we don't have. Where do we store this? Maybe just alongside this thing. Game source towns. Yeah, I think this is fine. All right, so available building details.cs. This is going to be a record struct. We need the same namespace we just had, game source towns. We're going to call this available building details. And we're going to throw in these three things that I said here, a name, a price, and a sign. Shouldn't the signpost have the name? Maybe. No, not necessarily. Has a label, but it's got build in the label, I think. Yeah, so it's going to have a building name. It's going to have a price. What is the price? Is that a long? Cost? Build cost? Long, yeah. Long cost. And then what's the last thing I said? A sign. Sign, post, sign. All right, so there's available building details. Now, why is it still red? Towns already contains a definition. What? Did it make it? And I didn't even see? Oh, it did. Wow. All right. Well, cool. All right, event should not follow property. Sure, whatever. All right, so now we got to go through here and form this sort of thing. So list available building details. I guess available buildings. And then we iterate over each signpost. Yeah, so it is going to be something like this. We just don't know how to get the name of the build cost yet. So I'm just going to fill in like to do name and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why is it complaining about the suppression? I'm not sure still. Because if I remove the suppression, then it complains about the actual thing that I was suppressing. So there's something wrong with my tool chain, and I'm not sure what it is. I want to ask you for a long time, is it convenient to use this type of keyboard, especially for gaming? So convenient for gaming? No. For everything else, I'd say yes. Like you just saw me type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Granted, that's no one probably ever really needs to type this, but still, I just typed it and I didn't really have to move my hand at all. It's like for you to do that, you have to use your left hand for part of it and your right hand for part of it and make sure you're moving your pointer fingers inward. A lot of that's pretty convenient. The reason why gaming isn't so convenient on this is because one, you just have fewer keys in general. And the way that you end up computing with fewer keys is by having keys have multiple responsibilities. And when you're typing, it's not too bad. Like here, I'm typing letters, and now I type the same keys and their numbers because I'm holding another key while I'm doing that. But now for a game, you don't typically want to do that. Like imagine you have WASD, and then you have to hold another key, and they turn into your abilities or your weapon switch or something like that. It'd be a little tedious for that. So what I would say is if the game you play has like 10 keys or fewer, it's probably fine. You could probably game with this. If the game you're playing needs more, like an MMORPG or maybe, I don't know, some kind of FPS where you have a lot of weapons you can switch to, it's probably not the best. Split keyboard made for gaming that someone in the StarCraft community is making. Can you link it, We Leave, tonight? I've tried a bunch of different keyboards for gaming. I had an Ergodox, and I used just the left half of this for gaming. That was pretty good. The problem is that at some point you want to use the full keyboard to type, so you couldn't just have the left half because you alt tab and you're typing to someone on Discord, and now what, you need to pull in another keyboard or something like that. So I tend to just use a regular traditional QWERTY keyboard for gaming. They name them after StarCraft maps. Yeah. I think rather than get this keyboard, I would probably have gotten something like this one, which at least the whoops, let me type keyboard there. So this is pretty similar, but the two halves seamlessly connect. Do they have a picture of that? No. Oh, here they do. Yeah. So if you just looked at this keyboard, you'd be like, oh, that's just a regular keyboard. But then you cut it in half. This does not have function keys though, which I assume you would want. But anyway, this style of keyboard where at least there's no gap between the two halves, I think would be nice. Here they have a gap. But yeah, to each their own. So if you like the aesthetic or you like the style or the price or whatever. Page is under construction, having a new client. They should have written like we have to construct additional pylons or something. Whoops. Be annoying to have a secondary keyboard that you plug in just for gaming. So the problem with using a Mac as your main computer is you probably need a secondary computer that you use for gaming. So I just have one. I have another computer, the Windows machine, under my desk, and I have a keyboard connected to that. So yeah, if I could just use this computer for everything, then I might try to shoehorn the Corn into working for games, but it's not really worth it to me for right now. Also, I have very few bytes left on these microcontrollers, so adding other layers or adding other like just key codes would mean I have to remove something else. There's reasons for that, which I don't quite understand, but some of the streamers are using it now. Yeah, and maybe it's just that they don't know about the other keyboards. Maybe they're too expensive. Maybe they like I said, the aesthetic of this. I mean, this is much more colorful than the the one that I showed before. Granted, they're just keycaps, so you can always swap out your own keycaps. But like the body, you can't do that unless you're gonna paint it yourself. Hey, Kevin, Happy New Year. Okay, so not all code paths return a value. Let's return the value. And then we need to listen. Whoops, delete this. We need to listen to this from somewhere. So the town menu could listen to it. Town.signs.sign visibility change. Yeah. Plus equals sign visibility changed. Cool. Go make the method. Available buildings. All right. So how about we just print them all out, maybe, and see how much this is going to spam. Maybe print above this thing. Got this many available buildings. And then tab it in and print out maybe just the sign label. Building.sign.label. We don't have that. That's not public. I don't want to make it public either. I just want to do something really quick here. So yeah, let's just make it public for now. To change this back before I check in. Yeah, I just want to make sure that this worked. Okay. All right, now let's test that out. So every single time a sign changes visibility, which probably happens a bunch of times at the beginning of the game, it's going to print out this blob of text. Oh, whoops. Yeah. That should work. All right, so we got a bug right off the bat. Setup menu, town menu.init. This is saying that signs don't exist at this time. Yeah, they don't. We could potentially try to change it so that the signs are initialized first. Where do these get initialized? This isn't loading the game. I don't care about that right now. Setup signs. Setup signs is done just after setup menu. Not anymore. And if there were a circular dependency, we just had to add a third function here. But I don't think there is. Oh yeah, let's see if this works. Hey, Saltorius, Happy New Year. Happy 2025. All right, that's probably fine. So we have the town hall and we have the potion shop. No, we don't have the potion shop. Oh, we have this. I see. Add item display. Okay, so if I build the town hall, it should say got one available building. Yeah, nice. Now the town hall doesn't show up anymore. So it does know which ones are there, which is pretty good. So now we got to do the next part. Hey, EJ. EJ subbing for himself this time. Thank you very much. Happy 55 months. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well. Do you have any big plans for 2025, EJ? Because the first half of 2025 for me is going to be all about Skeleseller, which is pretty much what the last half of 2024 was like. So in that sense, there's no change. All I'm doing... What is this? I've never heard of this. Let's see. This is not a fitness challenge. It's a transformative mental toughness program. What is this? Huh, interesting. Well, I look forward to seeing how this works for you. Oh, I see. Your resub message was supposed to contain the second part. Yeah, I'm curious about this. Anyway, it looked like it said 75 days. So I guess we'll find out in March how this went. All right, I'm writing this down. Find out if EJ became mentally tough. March 75 days from now. Was it like March 13th? March 17th. All right. You got till March 17th. Then I'm going to message you a whole bunch of insults. And if any of them elicit a sad emoji, then I'll know that you were not mentally tough. We're gonna put this to the test. He's just gonna like break down crying. I was doing well until you came along. All right, so this part's done. Probably make a function that will only show a single sign so we can test this. I guess we already have this in the form of the town hall, so I don't think we need that necessarily. And this should automatically be done too. So now we need to know if the buildings button should show or be hidden. Top tier insults. A top tier insult, I think, would be one that cut you, as in it really hurt. But I think as a spectator, a top tier insult would be something that's hilarious. I want to do neither of those things. I'll just message you and say, how's it going? What was that command? Best joke in the world? All right. There's a good joke for everybody. All right, so whenever the sign visibility changes, we need to say if available buildings dot count. Actually, we don't even need to do this. We could just do buildings button dot visible equals this is greater than 0. So it's visible when you have available buildings. So let's go try that out. Every time I say interesting, yeah, that's what happens with me too. Every time I type state, I think of satate. One joke has changed the course of humanity forever. Okay, so as soon as we build all of this, that the buildings button should disappear. This is going to be really tedious because we need to keep granting ourselves money. Yeah, and actually it might go to be too expensive. It is. Ugh. All right, I can't do this. We need this to not cost so much money. Game constants. Where are the costs? Shop costs. Here they are. All right, let's just set it to 0. There. So now it's free. This has all come a really long way since I was in here last. Good job. Thanks. Yeah, on January 17th, is that the Friday? Yeah. On the 17th is when the next version should launch. And then Steam has a couple of festivals running in, I want to say February, and we're going to aim to be in both of those. So I hope that'll help with the number of wish lists. All right, so buildings button is showing. We build this, and then we build 9 of these. Let's click a bunch of those. And as soon as I get to the last one here, so if I build this one, this button should go away. It did not. Is there another sign hidden somewhere? No. What's going on then? Ah, it broke. Cannot access a disposed object. Well, how fun. How absolutely fun. All right, fine. The way we got to fix this is like this then. If is instance valid, signpost, and it's visible. Yeah, there we go. All right, can we shortcut this somehow? I don't want to have to build a million of these things. What tells you what the maximum level is of a shop? Max shop level, here it is. Okay, we'll set it to 3. 3 means we don't have to click as much. That's all I want. Yeah. What are my plans? I will answer that in just a sec. All right, so when I click this button, the buildings button should go away. It did, perfect. And now if I click show all signs, it should reappear. Also perfect, nice. All right, we're getting there. This is going pretty well. Yeah, so 2025, I kind of mentioned this already earlier, but first half is mostly gonna be Skeleseller. Second half is gonna be a combination of one of the following based on Skeleseller, either more Skeleseller or the digital organization course or another game. Or possibly all of them, I don't know. But it's all based on if this does well, if there's more time that's needed, if it's doing terribly. Like if I launch the game and it gets 2 sales, despite how many people wishlisted it, then maybe we just give up. I don't know. What does the buildings button do? It's going to pop up a new dialogue. So when you click buildings, it's going to pop up this thing, which says available buildings. It's got an X at the top, and it just lets you see what's there in the game. Food.exe clone. The next building would be another single player game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. I see poor sales with thousands of wish lists. Can you see the wish list count as someone who doesn't own the game? Like, could other people see how many wish lists Skeleseller has? I don't know. I guess I know devs could share. It's private info. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess devs are sharing how many wish lists they have and then how many sales they got. I wonder how they got the thousands of wish lists. But anyway, I think the big thing that matters on Steam, at least for me, and I imagine a lot of other gamers are the same way. If you search for something like Terraria, the first thing I tend to do now is before I even like look at the materials here, I look at this, just this section right here. If this says some variation of positive, then I'm like, all right, now it's worth looking at the rest of this stuff. But if it says mixed or anything lower, then the first thing I do is just go down to the reviews and I'm like, why is this bad? And then I usually don't even consider playing the game. Hey, James, it's going well. Will it be on Steam? It's already, well, I guess it's only on Steam in the form of a game page, but yes, it will be on Steam. Yeah. Popular wish list. Oh, interesting. Interesting indeed. Can you sort by number of, no, you can't. Number of wish lists. Huh. This is a very interesting page. I didn't realize it existed. And there are a lot of games I've heard of on here. Inzoi's the Sims clone, right? I might as well start adding some of these games to my wish list. That, Slay the Spire 2. I think I finally gave up on... Oh, there's a trailer? Or I'll have to watch that later. Watch the videos here. Yeah, I think I finally gave up on Slay the Spire 1. I got to Ascension level 17, and I'm like... I feel like it's a deck building problem at this point. I got to figure out what kind of deck I even want to make. Okay, now I haven't heard of many of these. Titan Quest 2? Really? I did not find Titan Quest to be a very fun game. Huh. How many of these are there? What did it say? Like 3,000? Yeah, wow. Cool. Can't wait for Slay the Spire 2. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they change. And it's probably a pretty safe bet that it's going to be worth the money. Titan Quest was amazing. I guess I was comparing it to Diablo 2. And I just feel like Diablo 2 was a better game. I did play Titan Quest. I think there's another problem with this. They're multiplayer action RPGs. And the multiplayer part was completely ignored for me in Titan Quest, but not for Diablo 2. So when your friends are playing and they're hyped about a game, it's a little bit easier for you to get hyped and to find other people to play with. But yeah, for Titan Quest, it was like pretty much just a single player experience for me. What will you charge and how will you decide that? I'm not totally sure yet. Probably about $10, something like that. By the way, some of these questions are inside the little FAQ I have, so you might be curious about some of the other questions that are there too. Why am I streaming on a Thursday? Why are you typing with a British accent? Okay, so the next step we got to do here is make the available buildings UI. add it. Whenever you build a building, remove it. And you stop the UI from showing when another UI is showing. Yeah. Yeah, this shouldn't be too bad, I hope. Happy New Year. How was the 31st? 31st was very productive. Yesterday, I was trying to treat like a work day, and I mostly did. I got a lot of things off my personal to-do list as well. Still need to get the cost for the buildings as well, right? Yeah, I eventually need to do that. Let me write that down. Get the proper cost and label for each building. I currently... Where did I do this? Yeah, here. I currently do this. Hey, Goose, yeah. First stream of 2025. I would do the cost before UI because I hate UI work. I don't necessarily mind this UI. I don't think it's going to be too bad. Because it's just a panel with an X at the top, a title, and some buttons. And remember, it can only have like 10 buttons. So I think we can just throw it into a vertical list and it should be okay. Yes, streamed every day this year. A record that's about to be broken tomorrow. Oh, that's new. Or at least I don't think I've seen that there. Paste from clipboard. Because I happen to copy a bunch of these things so that I could paste them somewhere else. Okay, so what does this look like? What does this look like in terms of even just looks? Because it could look like this menu. It's probably a decent way to do things. Yeah, it's probably a decent way to do things. We just need an X at the top. It surely counts as a work. Depends on the family. Depends on the family. This was just a VBox container that what happens to have a special theme for it? Town menu theme. Can I open this? Oh, it's already open. All right, it has button, label. I don't know why it has label. I guess for the money. And it has a panel container. But this isn't a panel container. It has a panel container under it. Why do we do this? I think this is unnecessary. I think we could have gotten rid of this VBox container at the top of all this stuff. I'm going to write that down. Then we need to check that out. See if town menu can delete its first two, what do you call them? Like levels of nodes. I.e., can we just have the panel container? Hard to believe it was last year. Hey, Monatic Vine, Happy New Year. Good to see you again. Thanks for the resub. What are your 2025 plans, Monatic Vine? Let me just violate your privacy and ask in front of everybody. Then broadcast the answer. For money, we should maybe even do this now because I want to make another dialogue based on this. Yeah, fine. Let's do it now. All right, make scene root. And then we need to give it this town menu.cs. The sellout. Uber, thank you too for subbing. Was only there to position it off the border, but that could be done by moving the whole menu too. Yeah. My plans are to tell you my plans. Excellent. Excellent. So what are your plans? I kid. You don't have to share. What? Let's change the style of everything. Drat. What do we have to do? Oh, because we lost the theme. Oh, that's easy to fix. Quick load in the town menu. Hey, nice. It looks exactly the same. What if you just start being a sellout in 2025? Beg for subs, enable donations, start saying controversial things. So the closest I got to this was when I started the Adam Learn stuff and I was actually just talking about subscriptions. I very rarely say like, hey, follow or subscribe to the channel. That pretty much hasn't happened in like 4 years. And I did my one sponsorship back then too. Since then, I just haven't really been concerned with any of that. He just did. Yeah, but that was in quotation marks. Yeah, anyway, if I were to sell out, quote unquote, I think what I'd probably do is just go for more sponsorships. Because it feels better to take a company's money than it does to take all of your money. Oakleus, thanks for subbing. And I don't want to do sponsorships really. I've had people reach out to me in the last year, and I've mostly been like, hey, I'm not really looking for anything, but you should share the details anyway. And the details haven't been super compelling yet. What about you? 2025 plans? Yeah, I'll make a quick 2025 command because I'll probably get asked this a decent amount. I don't have one, right? No. Okay. ACOM 2025. Adam's general 2025 plans are launch Skeleseller or launch Skeleseller. The rest is hazy. Oh, Ellen Box, thanks for subbing. Welcome. No, Lunbox? Let me know how to pronounce your name. But thanks for subbing. I've probably asked you this before. Yeah. Yeah, plans to launch Skeleseller. The rest is hazy because it depends on how well Skeleseller does. But his general Adam's 2025 plan is to launch Skeleseller. General plans after that would either be to continue working on Skeleseller, to make his digital organization course, or to start working on a new game. There we go. Lunbox, single L was taken. Cool. I will write that down. I'm going to write it like that. And then I'll just put a note directly in your name over here. All right, Lumbox, thanks for subbing. Adam's 2026 plans are unknown. Hey. Hey, you. You made me change my A to an E. Actually, I kind of like world domination better. Yeah, no, I'm just going to make every single year. You know what? Fine. How about that? EJ, you want to make the 2027 command be world domination? That I will allow. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. Making the panel. So did this look pretty much the same? Did it change? It still looks like it's... Still looks like it's positioned a little bit away from this. I wonder how. Position is 5-5. I don't know what it used to be, though. Apparently 5-5. I wonder if Godot is smart enough to know what it just did here. Interesting. All right, does the town menu itself have any issues? It just says node. Yeah, that should be fine. All right, let's try running it again. I mean, if it looks pretty much the same, then yeah, we can get rid of those nodes. It does not anymore. It's not positioned at the right side or the right location. Why though? Position is 5-5. Oh, because the parent of it doesn't put it in the right spot? Where's the town menu? There it is. It's inside of a VBox container. Oh, because the notifier's under it too? Oh, we could just position this at 5-5. It's pretty much the same as having a margin container that's just going to be set to 5-5, but with one fewer node. And then we can revert this. Perfect. All right, let's try that out. Yeah, looks good. And then as I add and remove things, it should also resize correctly, I hope. Yeah. That's pushed in further for some reason. Why? Did the notifier have its own transform? No. Does this have a transform? Yes. Why? It's positioned at 5-5, but this is a margin container. Oh, so then this must have margin. Okay, yeah. I don't think we need don't think we need any margin on this, actually. Let's just get rid of the left and top and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's lined up now. Right? Yeah, it's lined up. I think this looks good. Yeah, okay. Does the notifier also have a margin? It did, yeah. I don't know if it needs the right and left margins. Or sorry, right and bottom. I don't know what those might do. Because it'd be a margin on every notification. Yeah, anyway, we could keep it there, but I don't think it's needed. But yeah, this is done. Where did I write that down? Yeah, there. All right. The whole reason we did that is so we could start making this new menu, and I wanted something to base it off of. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to paste that into here, I guess. And then put the, this isn't called town menu anymore. It's available buildings menu. Hey, Hepta. Ended up declining the service now offer. 30% pay cut. Required in office 2 days a week. Yeah, I remember you talking about the golden handcuffs. I still got to say, for what it's worth, at the level of money I assume you're making, a 30% pay cut, while it does seem big and you might feel like you're missing it, I don't think it'd have a significant change to your life. But the working in office 2 days a week, if that's a deal breaker for you, then yeah, that makes sense. Also, I get that my own importance that I'm placing on this is not your importance. Already 5 days RTO. How do you feel, Uber? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Is it gonna be like a drop down that shows to the right of the town menu? Something like that. Yeah. I mean, I know this arrow's drawn way off to the right, but yes, it's supposed to be just sort of next to this thing. And a lot of this is just to get it to the point where it's ready for Saturday. I just booked someone for this Saturday and ideally for next Saturday to do UX sessions. So I can see how they like this stuff and how they're navigating when it comes to this. So yeah, if my friend this Saturday clicks this and is like, oh, I'd like this dialogue to be whatever, inline, or you should just hover this or something, then I'll have that feedback. Okay, so let's save this in UI. Available buildings menu. Okay, now this is not money label. This is going to be like title label, I guess. And it doesn't even need to be a thing, so just delete it. Now let's add it in again. And this time, buildings, or maybe available buildings? Something like that. Then center it and probably make it a lot bigger. Font size. I don't want this to be like, I don't want it to expand this dialogue too much because it really is just a bunch of buttons. So maybe 24 pixels is good. Yeah. I like it after the last 4 years of changes. Much easier to unblock folks on a team on a daily basis. Yeah, I think having some touch points for just social interactions too, I think is good. Yeah. Gonna start sending out more resumes. Ex-boss at Amazon, now at Anthropic, reached out. 2025 man, tax man cometh. Yeah. You can use font weight to help differentiate. Hey, Abby, you were co-streaming with someone the other day, right? Who were you streaming with? I don't know why this is even in my memory right now. Yeah, alkaline, I think. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I maybe using font weight would be good, but we have a bunch of broken glyphs, I think, and I don't think we can use it without the whole font looking broken. I'm not even sure how to set this in here. Yeah. There is very likely a way to do that. But I'm going to start with this because this isn't final UI yet, and we will probably take a pass over a lot of this stuff and work on colors and positionings and stuff. been doing a lot of team lunches and such. My argument has been that we get to do more social stuff now that we're forced to be at the office every day. Yeah. Yeah. The way I see it is if you're going to be forced to go into the office and you wouldn't have liked that, to try to at least find some of the positives. Okay. So all of the buttons that are in here are going to be populated dynamically, but as long as making a new button looks good, then I think we're fine here. Oh, and we need the close button, which I did not actually make. Button Testeroni. Yeah, this looks fine. Okay. All right, so close button. How do we do this in any other dialogue in the game? Or do we do it? It's mostly just click outside of the dialogue. Yeah, in fact, it's always that, isn't it? This one has a back to game button, but otherwise, no, nothing does. Well, dialogues do here with a maybe later. Is there anything else in terms of dialogues that I'm missing? No. Yeah. 3 days RTO and it's pretty good. Do hate the commute, but I'm a lot more productive in the office. How long is a commute? Adventures has a close button at the bottom. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, so we could do something like that. We could just move this X down to the bottom and just have it be closed and have it be maybe a little bit offset from the rest of them. This one, it's at the top and it's a little offset from the rest of them. Well, let's call this close and let's see at least how it feels. And then we add in the other buttons above it. Or just have the close button be dynamic too. Although, should you be able to pop this up if there aren't any buildings? Did I say anything about that? Where did that design document go? Here it is. Clicking the button would pan the camera to the sign. Oh, no. You just don't, it doesn't even exist if you don't have any contents. Yeah, okay, so we'll just auto close it in that case. Well, I guess you could know that something else is, no, you wouldn't know that. When there are no available buildings, automatically close the new menu if it was open. That way we don't have to deal with a blank UI. That's actually not the reason why I would want to do that. That's just one of the benefits. I just phrased that weirdly. 15 to 20 minutes on average. I think that's good. I think 15 minutes is like the perfect commute. I think it's enough to clear your head. It's not so long you get frustrated. Even on a bad day, it works out to be probably like half an hour if there's an accident or something. 35 minutes there and like an hour back. Oh, this is about to get really bad, Monetic Vine. There was just a news article. Let's see if I can find this really fast. Yeah, this Como News. How Amazon's new return to office rule may impact you. And it's basically traffic's going to suck. That's the TLDR. Which I'm sure you know. Yeah, that is pretty long. Yeah. But hey, restaurants in the area are going to be jumping for joy to have thousands of people who could potentially go buy food. Okay. So yeah, I just haven't figured out what I want to do about the close button. We could add it in dynamically. I think that's fine. We just need to know to add it after this. And we can put this outside of the VBox container. No, not really. You can just have another thing. No, I don't know. I guess what we could do, yeah, because otherwise it's going to be kind of stupid. Let's add in the close button. And let's just know that we're adding things above the close button anytime. You can add a VBox above the close button and shove the other buttons there. Oh, that's true. That wouldn't look weird. I, for some reason, thought that would look really strange, but maybe it won't. Test. Yeah, and actually this will let us separate the close button a little bit. So this VBox container can have a separation that's higher. No, that probably looks stupid. Maybe this one just has a margin. And we give this a margin top of something a little bit larger. Yeah, something like that. And then just shrink this. Okay. We need to give this a theme. We already have it. Never mind. Well, there was decent public transit between my office and where I live, both of which are downtowns. Yeah, it's a real shame. It really is. It should never be that way. That the downtowns don't have good public transit. Although I will say, I think every downtown around here has a transit center, right? I know that doesn't necessarily mean that buses are running all the time or that they are on time. All right, so now we just delete this. Why does it move the cursor all the way back up to the top? Buttons, container. Great. Okay. Cool. Talking about U.S. public transport situation makes me angry. Yeah. A lot of other countries do it better. All right, now where does this go? Probably in the town menu, and the town menu can control its visibility. Town menu itself is a panel though, so I guess that doesn't really make sense. But I think I want to give the town menu access to this thing at the very least. It wouldn't be in a VBox container though. So all right, let's instantiate the available buildings thing, and let's see how this is gonna look. Yeah, for now, I'm just gonna, whoops. For now, I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna do that and just put this here manually. Can eventually just position this dynamically. Is it the same Y coordinate? That's pretty important. It looks like it is. Transform position 5. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same. Yep, it is. Do you feel like you usually do game design as you're developing, or is it a separate task? I tend to do it as I develop. The way it generally works is I come up with some, well, I think we need to back up a step. So the way it generally works is there's already some plan, and then there's a deadline for another alpha version. And then we get feedback from people, and then we process the feedback and prioritize that feedback. And then from there, we try to solve those problems. And let's say, as just an example, like the game needs hippos. This becomes a game design problem that then I will try to tackle, and we'll typically spend like somewhere on the order of 1 to 10 days, depending on how big of a feature is needed. And I'll make a new design document. And what was the last thing we did for this? Let me do this off screen for a sec. Design. Yeah, okay. Here's one of the documents that we just did. When was this from? Well, it's after checkpoint 4. So let's say late November or something. Anyway, this is 25 pages long, and then there's a scratch section that's another 3 pages long. So I just like spew my thoughts. I try to get them into order. I try to then turn those into tasks. So yeah, I find it better to do the design alongside the development when it's iterative anyway. Please add hippos. Would hippos fit in the game? They are pretty big. Has it transcender, but it's 4 or 5 buses a day, and most of those go to the other economic center of the region. Yeah, I wonder if that's ever going to get better. The light rail is new. I wonder if that'll connect more things. I saw his younger brother after 15-ish years. Wow. Yeah. Did you do the typical like, oh my God, you've grown so much? Full on design docs to tasks, but only once there's a task established. Yeah, and at the very beginning of the game, there were no tasks because there was no game, so it was just a design document. So that was a little bit special. But I think that's how most games start, is like, hey, let's at least figure out what we're going to do and then do some of it and then come back to the drawing board. So, yeah. All right. So we got the UI showing there. Let's make this access as unique. Now let's go get that available billings menu. Wherever we have the town menu, I guess, is what we're going to put that to. It's just called menu. Good. Go pull that in. And then use this. In my mind, this is part of the menu. So we're going to put this here. Yeah, that works. And then we would probably need to initialize this. I'm not going to do that yet. Yeah, sure, Abby. Also, welcome in. I know I just immediately commented on like, have I seen you before? But yeah, welcome to the street. Best is when the kid has no clue who you are since you maybe seen them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if there's no touch point for like every year or phone calls or something. Yeah. And by the way, the reason Kevin used the Abby command earlier is that's the name of my cat. This little cutie. We were talking about cats the other day, like a few weeks ago, and I was around some friends of friends, and it turns out one of those people's names is Abby. So her ears kept perking up as I was talking about my cat. All right, so the menu should probably get initialized with this thing. I don't think you should have to hunt this down, although it does have the town, and the town has this, and it's public. It doesn't really matter too much. We need to either show or hide this. So available buildings menu, town, dot this, dot visible equals not visible. Now, what's the problem with this? Does not contain a definition for visible. Did I not even code this? I never coded this. Whoops. Yeah, let's go. Oh, wait, it has a script. It just has the wrong script. Yeah, detach and attach. Source, scene, scripts, UI, available building menu. Looks good. All right, so now that that exists, now this should not be a problem. But it probably doesn't know. Oh, it just made its own class. All right, yeah, now it's not a problem. And now we have this thing, and this doesn't do anything. So maybe in ready, what we'll do is we'll get the containers and stuff. We need to get all the custom name things. So buttons container and close button. So private control buttons container and the close button. Close button. And then in here, I don't know why that my Z key isn't working. What is going on with this thing? The pins haven't been bent. It's not like super dusty underneath. This is concerning. All right, buttons container. Nice, it already just knows what I want for this stuff. Had to take the keyboard apart and resolder it. Wow. Yeah, I think the switches were like the easiest part to solder on this keyboard, so I don't think the switch is probably going bad or needs a different contact. It might be the key itself. Well, sorry, the socket. Yeah. The socket was the easiest thing to solder. The switch might need to be replaced. I said that wrong. Okay, so for now, when you press this, it'll close this. Private void close is gonna just hide the dialogue, I guess. In fact, we could just say that it's hide. I don't know why I made all that stuff next to it. I must have triggered some snippet. And then the buttons container, let's add a button in. Add child testeroni. This is not going to be a real button. I just want to make sure that it looks like something. Equals new. And text equals. Oh, it can fill it in for me. It knows. Can be simplified by putting the text thing right in there. All right. So there we go. Now put this inside a namespace. Scene scripts UI. And run it. Type cannot be found. Available buildings menu. From where? Town? Oh, town doesn't know that this thing exists. Oh, because it had made it its own class inside this file? Sure. It's going to show up by default because I never hit it, but clicking the buildings button should make it go away. Yep, see? Exactly. It's saying no, not found for a bunch of stuff, but probably because of this. What is going on there? This seems to imply I have the wrong script. Do I have the wrong script? I forgot to save. Yes, I have the wrong script. Whoops. All right, yeah, there we go. Okay, so you can click this, you can click this. So that's working. Then what do I want to do? We want to go to town menu again. And this thing, if the buildings button is not visible, actually, let's just make this a Boolean. Is visible. Is visible. Okay, so if that's not visible, then we also want to hide the available buildings menu. And I'm going to write why we're doing this. If there are no available buildings, close the menu so as not to confuse the player. Yeah, there's no reason to leave it up. If you knew that there was going to be a building that was about to be available, then maybe you'd want to keep it up, but you wouldn't know that in the game. And you wouldn't just always want this open. So yeah, we might as well just be nice and close it. There's no way to, well, there's a way to test this, I guess. We would build this and oh, that shouldn't happen. Why did that happen? Oh, whoops, because I was supposed to say if not is visible. Yep, whoops. Yeah, thanks, Key. I'll give Ski a point. Okay, so it's open. We build this. We build these two things, and then it should disappear. Yeah, perfect. I like it. All right, we've made some really good progress so far. I know this isn't actually usable. It's got a button that does nothing, but it's getting there. And then the existence of this button means that there is something you can build, but it doesn't mean you have enough money for it. So when you have enough money, I guess we should highlight it green. Did I write that down? I did not write that down. When you have enough money for any particular upgrade, highlight the button green. And then we need to do the same thing down here. Have enough money for a hint. For the specific hint that the UI wants you to get. Highlight the button green. Okay. It says Cicerone. No, that's not a bug. Very intentional. Okay, I'm gonna go take another break. When I come back, we're gonna spend some more time on this. We got about an hour until lunch, so I think that's a good enough time to be able to work on a lot of this. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Okay, don't forget, you can type join and then jump with J and a number. Have some fun testing that out. You got 30 seconds left and then the game starts. I'll be back in a bit. Hey again, GG, close the game. Okay, so where we leave off, we had a testaroni button. This does nothing. We need to populate this UI. All right, so the populating of the UI, we could give this thing the town, or we could just make it so that like town menu owns this thing. I don't really care too much how I do it. Yeah, I don't really care too much. We could just pass it all the available buildings. Set available buildings, available buildings, there. Okay, so now we get rid of this, and we make this method exist. And make this public, delete that stuff. Do this, make a button for each one of these things. You should be able to do JJJJJJ and charge the super jump. I'm probably not going to make any more changes to Jump Royale. The other game that we sometimes play on the stream is Animal Royale, which is pretty crazy and not at all clear how it works. And we still need to make it clearer. I did merge a couple of PRs I didn't realize were around from Kevin. Where's the, does that have a picture in it? Yeah, it does. All right. So this game, which maybe we probably won't play this today, but I launch Minecraft. You all can connect through Twitch chat as sheep, and you shoot TNT at each other, and the last sheep standing wins. I think it's pretty fun. It's really complex, and we need to make it easier. If we do make it easier, I think more people would enjoy playing it. Animal Royale is great. I just love the idea. Yeah, love the idea. Okay, so we want to make a bunch of buttons here. So we got to go into buttons container, and there is no free all the children. All right, 4H. Actually, why don't we have that? Do we have a free? No, we don't. Huh. I should probably make something. Don't I have node functions somewhere? Fade functions. We don't have it anywhere. Node. Huh. There's more than one animal. It's just not controllable. Make a list extension. I don't think I want to make a list extension. I think I'd want to go for a static function here, because I feel like a list extension should be applicable to every kind of list, but this would only be applicable to lists of something that inherits from node. Also, in this case, it just is something that inherits from node. It could be a node extension. And I don't particularly mind too much between having extensions or between having a static function. They're pretty much the same thing. Anyway, okay, so then I think we should get a nodes function somewhere, or node functions, excuse me. Do we have anything like that? What do we have that has node in the name? Wait, whoa. We do have a node functions. It's just a folder. Clear tile map and tile map size. Huh, interesting. Yeah, so I guess let's just add that in there. Tile map size. So we'll save this as free all children. Free all children. This is kind of stupid. Like, this should all just go into one file. Does clear tile map do the same thing? Yeah, it does. Okay, yeah, it should all go into one file. I'm going to do this in a separate file for now, but I'll write it myself a note to clean this up. Put all files in node functions into a single file named node functions. Very noble of me, yes. Think of how many children will grow up and be like, I should buy Skeleseller. All of them, every single one. So public static void free all children. This is dumb naming. We iterate over all of those. node child in node.getChildren, and then it's actually queue freeing them all. And that's it. And that's why this doesn't deserve its own file. But what are you going to do? Member names cannot be the same as their enclosing types. Free all children dot free children. Sure. Call it node functions. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do eventually. That's what I said here. I just don't want to get sidetracked for too long. All right, so buttons container, we now call free all children dot free children. There we have it. And then we want to add in new buttons. So string text equals, I guess that, sure. And I'll make a button with that text. Wow, look, the code's just writing itself. Change list to use collection. I think we got rid of this, but I think it's in a different branch right now. So I think we can just ignore that. Are we calling this from over here? We are. Okay, so the buttons should show up. They're going to be the wrong labels and possibly the wrong cost. I'm not really sure what shows up there. Oh, I see. Why is that text really tiny? Oh, maybe because of how large the text, the string is. And clicking this doesn't do anything yet. Yeah, we need to make it do something too. All right, so button.pressed. Hold on a second. This is going to fail, isn't it? Because we're going to add some listener to this, but then we're never going to clean up the existing listeners. No, the buttons will cease to exist, though. Will that be a problem? God, I always forget how this works. It doesn't matter how many times I do this. Here it is. The subscriber outlives the publisher. You don't have to do anything. No, wait, this is a Godot event, so this should be fine. I want to say, I don't remember. Whatever, let's still just do this. Okay, so when you press this, we're just going to print out, you click the button. And then this should eventually center on the sign and pop up the signs dialog. All right, so I think that's the end of the easy stuff, quote unquote. I think things are going to get a little bit tough now. So let's start with the text. What did I call this? What did I call this? Building name. Yeah, so let's get the building name and cost to be correct. Where do we do that? We don't need this to be public anymore. This can be back to private. All right, so how do we get the name of the building? I don't think there's a way to dynamically get this right now. I think we need to add in some new data, but I don't remember for sure, so let's take a look. So we have a label. And what sets that label? Build labels. Oh, interesting. This has label above sign, dialogue title, and dialogue description. It could probably be the dialogue title. What is that? Item display. No, it can't be. You need to know that it's the potion shop item display. Otherwise, you'll just see item display here 3 times. So I think this does need to be a custom new name. Yeah. Because this just says add item display and this just says item display. That's too bad. Well, it's not really too bad. It's just adding another string to like 10 different places. Not that hard. These could just be the same though. This can just be town hall. Okay. Do all signs have a signpost label? They must, or else it wouldn't be here. And instead of making this protected, we need to make this public, or at least just the, what's it called? The like available buildings menu string. So sure. So what should we call that? Buildings menu button text. Sure. That works. All right, so now we try building, and it's gonna make like 14 errors, and we just go fix the errors. And maybe I should write a comment for why this should be separate. This is separate from the others because nothing else like scopes the building properly. It's stupid. Nothing else is specific enough on its own. E.g., adding an item display to a shop. We'll just say item display. But for the buildings menu, we need it to say something like potion shop display. This is making me realize there's another problem here, which is that I think these strings do need to be pretty long. So maybe we just widen the dialogue. At least for now, that's a good enough solution. All right, so we should have gotten a bunch of errors. Yeah. Okay, so Enchanter's Den. This can just be called the Enchanter's Den, sure. Upgrade labels, oh my god. We don't want the upgrade label to have something, do we? No, we do need it. It's a sign. It's a sign that we have work to do. Spell crystal? I guess. All right, so what do we call this? Explorer's Hut? Guild? I don't think this one ever shows up. Okay, that one's different. This one can be the garbage slime. All right, so these need to get specific. Shopdata.name, what is that? Name. Is it alchemist, armorsmith, whatever? Weapon shop, potion shop, armor shop. Okay, so we want it to be a combination of that. Shopdata.name. Item display, I guess. Yeah, and then the same thing here. Oh, no. That's just shopdata.name. What am I doing? This one is the specific one, yeah. Item stand. Well, we are using item display already, but yeah, item stand might be a little bit better. I'll probably revisit that at some point. This can just be the tavern. This can be the town hall, yeah. All right, build vault. So this one is vault, and this one is vault storage. Then this is the same thing. This is warehouse, and this is warehouse storage. And that's all of them. Whew, okay, not too bad. So now we just need a way of getting that. And let's get it from here. Public string build menu, buildings menu button text is that. And then over here, we just simply pull that information in from the signpost dot that, to the point where this isn't even needed. If we have the signpost, we can just get this text. Yeah. All right, I'll just write it to do there. Consider not passing in a string at all for the first argument. It can just be pulled from the signpost. Okay, so let's try running this. We should see proper buttons in the UI, but they'll have the wrong costs. I still need to figure out how we get the costs. So it says potion shop, town hall. Clicking them won't do anything. That's fine. And then if we build the potion, oh, it's not the potion shop though. It's actually the item storage. What's going on? Oh, because we only, oh darn it, we only saved one of these things. All right, so here's what's happening. Signpost, this thing needs to be overridden by the build and upgrade sign, because when it's an upgrade, it's got a different string. Yeah, there are upgrade labels here. Can we make this virtual? And then override it here. Public override string. Oh, no, it had the right thing. All right, except for this is not correct. Because we need to know what level this thing is. Building.upgrade. Building is built. Yuck. Okay, so if the building is built, then return this. I guess just do this. If it's not built, then it's going to be the base dot buildings menu text, whatever. All right, now why is this? Oh, that's fine. Whew, okay, that should fix that. Cool. So now we see potion shop, item display, and town hall. Cool, cool, cool. And if I click show all signs, we'll see a whole bunch of these show up. But if we just look at one of these, like the armor shop, if I build this, that should change. It didn't. Oh, because it's the same sign. The visibility never changed. All right, take care, Abby. Thanks for dropping by. Enjoy the lunch. Enjoy the new year. First lunch of 2025. I'm going to have my first lunch of 2025 pretty soon. I'm excited. Oh, man. All right. What do we do here? So there are a few problems. We need to figure out how to manifest costs or pull them from the signs. We have a bug when building a shop or any building that can be upgraded. The sign's visibility doesn't change. So the menu doesn't update. And then make the click handler work. You haven't showered this year. Hey, Kuro. Streams are so chill to watch. Thanks. Yeah, I try not to have any like loud noises. I don't play any custom music. I feel like you can always overlay your own music on top and listen to whatever you want to listen to. And yeah, just coding. Not much drama or controversy here. Oh, you know what else we should put in is the currency symbol. That's easy enough where I'll just do that right now, but that's also the least important thing. I don't even know where this went. Building menu, here it is. Cost and then game constants dot currency. Oh, do I not? Yep, there it is, fine symbol. I keep typing currency, but it's not currency, it's money. All right, so how do we fix the first problem? When building a shop, the sign's visibility doesn't change. And we're just listening for visibility change. There is a way we can kind of cheat. Yeah, in build and upgrade sign, when you do upgrade, where does that happen? Yeah. Or rather, when you build. Where's build called? I think build is in the parent class and it's just never overridden here. Is there a build function? There it is. Protected virtual build. It doesn't do anything? What? Oh, this doesn't seem good. Maybe we don't use the build function because there's something else happening here. Build option ID. Where is that? Here it is. Perform build. Oh, I see. It's just still virtual, so it needs to be overridden by something else. So each individual function does this. That seems like a mistake. Ooh, yeah, that does seem like a mistake. Should be called a builder upgraded in the root class. That Titan Quest take was controversial. Sorry, Azenris. Well, who knows? Maybe Titan Quest 2 is going to be the best game ever. And my average opinion will be that the games are good. I think it would take a lot for me to play a multiplayer ARPG again, though. Because the likelihood of my friends wanting to play it is probably pretty slim. I recently tried a game. I was talking to Ski about this. The game called Windcraft. And it's a Minecraft MMORPG. And this is just astounding to me. 1,800 online players. Like, I would just not expect that. But their main value... Well, they have a parallax effect. Their main value prop, I feel, is you just take vanilla Minecraft and connect to this server, and you're done. You don't need to download a bunch of stuff. But there's a lot of jankiness with this. They have a map somewhere. Yeah. So, like, there's no map in the game. You have to be looking at this. You can see my characters there, apparently. This is really tedious when you don't have a map in the game and you have to use another website. So even if you have two monitors, this doesn't update in super real time. So you're like, your friend's over here and you're trying to get to them and you have to figure out how to get there. It's harder. There's a lot of little glitches because of Minecraft isms. It seems like you don't write comments on your methods. You have a specific reason for that. I think the only reason you should have comments is when something is unclear. And it could be the how. It shouldn't be the why. The code should tell you the, or sorry, other way around. The code should tell you how, and the why is usually the more important reason. Like, good candidate for comments. The reason for this is because comments become something that needs to be maintained. So if you think about it, imagine I have something like this, like builds the enchanter because we don't have a whatever, a craft station or something. This is just a made up comment. This comment says because we don't have a craft station. What if you eventually have a craft station? Do you come back to this comment? Do you even think to do that? And typically the answer is no, people don't think to do that. So then your comments are out of date and they become more confusing than they are helpful. So that's why I find that you should write them sparingly. And sometimes they're helpful, like to write exactly how something's working. But like I said, usually your code should just be clear how it's working. This is a mod game in Minecraft. Play the original. Yeah, it's a server side mod, and I think you do download a resource pack. But otherwise, it's nothing like Minecraft. Like, you're not breaking blocks, you're not creating blocks. Maybe you are later in the game, but it's like an MMORPG. Is that also because you're working on this project on your own? I'm actually not working on this on my own, but whether or not I'm working on something on my own, I would have the same comment standards. So back in the Botland days, I commented basically everything. Although part of the reason why is it was JavaScript, and it's not obvious what the types are without writing comments for them. So at the very least, I think you should write in type comments for JavaScript. Although at the very least, I don't think you should be using JavaScript. I think you should just use something with types. So, excuse me. Yeah, whether or not I'm working on it with other people, I think comments serve the same purpose. You in the future is pretty much identical to someone else in the present, and that you're not going to remember what you wrote. And the future doesn't have to be a very long time. It could be 2 weeks from now. I come back to this code and I'm like, what was I thinking? And ideally, the code makes it clear enough what you were thinking. And if you can predict that you'll be confused in the future, then yes, you should write something here now to clarify that confusion. And like I said, I think there are lots of cases for that. So if you just search through my code base for the comments we have, it says there are 22,000 results. That's not actually true. Okay, that's more like it, 8,000 something. And then if we only search through some CS files here, so let's search for .cs. This says delete the placeholders from the editor. Yeah, so here's a pretty good example of why a comment might be helpful. Inside of ready, which is when a component is being set up, we're just clearing everything from it. And you might be like, why would that happen? And the reason why is in the editor, we added some placeholders so it looks good in the editor. And you need to know you need to delete those. So it's like, okay, that's pretty reasonable. We might find some unreasonable comments if we keep looking for a long time, but let's see if there's some, just go to some random thing. Yeah, here's one that the code actually does tell you what it's doing. This is sorting ascending. It's just not super obvious when you look at this because it's like, oh, A dot compared to B. What does that return? You might not remember that. So yeah, little things like that. So you will find some comments there. Can the method name do the documenting in that example? Clear placeholders. Yeah, that's actually a good suggestion. And at the very least, then the clear function would have. Where is that? Yeah. Oh, that's technically clears even when they're not placeholders. So never mind. But yeah, I could say that, oh, sometimes this is used for clearing placeholders, but it's only that one call. Okay, glad to have helped, Kuro. Yeah. All right, so the idea that I had, and this is getting the shop sign. We don't have a build here, do we? We do have a build. Built or upgraded. Okay, so here's what we could do, and I think this is stupid, but we could call hide and then show. I want to see if this works. If it does, I don't know, we could use that. Like I said, it's hacky. We could just raise an event, a custom event for this, and that's probably what I'll do. So what we have to do now is click this, and see how it says Armor Shop here in the third button? When I click build, it should now, yeah, it changed. So now it's Armor Shop item display, which is now what this sign does. So now it's add an item display. So that is one way of fixing this. I think this is bad. I think the better way of doing this is to emit an event that says that the sign functionality changed or something. I don't know what we call that. Hey, bums. Good day to you. Good new year to you. Hey, Handy. Happy New Year to you too. May 2025 be full of happiness, success, and full of solved bugs. Thank you. Hopefully full of no bugs. and the ones that existed already are solved. Yeah, so here's our general problem. Problem is that we hooked into the visibility changed method for a sign, but the sign only shows itself when, or well, the sign, I guess, just doesn't change visibility when you build something that can later be upgraded. So solution number one is what we just did. Quickly call hide and then show. Solution number two would be hook into another event, maybe something like on update build menu. I don't know. So when a sign changes visibility, call this. And when a building is built, call this. And what else could we do here? I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I think this is the right way to do things, and that's probably what I'm going to do then. Yeah. I don't know what to call this, though, but we should be able to come up with some kind of name for it, right? All right, so what event show up first? Public event action on, I'll call it on update build menu for now, and we'll think about it in a bit. So now when the visibility changes, we call this. And when you build a sign, we potentially call this. Oh, drat. You can only invoke an event from inside the class defining it. So we need to make a protected function that can call that. Protected void invoke on update build menu. Yeah. And now in the visibility change thing, we can do that. And then we also want to do this from the other classes. So let's just go into shop sign and let's do that here. So we'll do that. And then, and I guess delete the hide and show. We know that that works. It's now saved in the VOD. And now we need to listen for that event inside of the town menu. So where do we check for visibility changing? Sign visibility changed. Oh God. I guess what we're gonna call this is like available buildings changed. I think that's a better thing. So it's not signpost visibility change. It's on build, on update build name. This is a stupid name. Stupid name. We got to fix that. I just don't know what it should be called yet. And I can tell that it's stupid. All right. Did we do it? I've lost my context halfway through and just forgot. So, let's see. So available buildings changed. This is now going to be renamed to that. Good. Yeah, this stuff looks good. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, let's try it. If it's the same sign, then it means it's being moved. Yes, but the first time it's shown, it's not technically being moved. I have an idea for what I'm going to call it, but I want to at least see that this is working first. So if I click show all signs, we should see a bunch of buttons appear here. Good. And then if I build the armor shop, we should see the armor shop button change. Good. Yes. Cool. So that's all working. Now let's go fix the name because I'm happy with what the functionality is. And it's just in signpost. This is kind of stupid. I think it was made clearer over here. Yeah. Yeah, so signpost. I think we can just say available building changed. Yeah. I think it's pretty good. Oh, I meant you could look for the position changing. Yeah. I see. Okay, so this is invoked when it becomes is invoked when an upgradable. Are there two E's in upgradable? 151,000 results and 214,000 results. Well, let's go with only one E then. That looks weird to me. We don't ever use this in the other part of the code base. It doesn't matter. It's just a comment. It's clear what it's trying to say. This event is invoked when an upgradable building is built or when any sign changes visibility. It indicates that we should repopulate the available buildings menu. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's go mark that as done. All right, now costs. How do we do the cost of this? I think it's inside the labels, maybe? No, it's not. How do we do the cost of this? Oh, I also only did this from shop sign. That's a problem. Yeah, that's a big problem. All right. Protected virtual void build. So this needs to be done and built or upgraded needs to be called. I typed that wrong. Okay, so now every sign that inherits from that needs to call those two things. So base.build. What other signs inherit from it? Let's find out. Enchanter sign. Build. Good. Cool. Shop sign, we already did. Yep. Vault sign. And warehouse sign. Nice. Okay, so all those are fixed. Now we go look at the cost. Where do we get the cost from? Ah, just some random location. Why? Oh, man. Yeah, we should store it in the sign. It would make sense. Yeah. That's not even the cost, by the way. This is the cost. Although, what figures out the new cost? Is there a function to get that? What does cost right there? Get cost of next upgrade. So the building knows it. That's for upgrading though. It doesn't know the cost of that. Oh man, that's so stupid. You could argue that the buttons don't need to show the cost. Yeah, but I think players would want to know if you open up this dialogue. First of all, let me make it not look so gigantic. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just set it all to 500 so they're not huge. Yeah, if you open up this dialogue, I think you'd want to know at a glance, like, what are the things I can afford? And like, oh, that one's super expensive. Like, maybe we should save up for that. So yeah, when I click this, yeah, clicking them will navigate to where the sign is, but then clicking that the sign is what shows you how much it costs. Yeah, I do think it needs to be in here. You can't spend the money from that dialogue. Not directly, but clicking this is going to do two things. It's going to center the camera. So imagine it just goes like this. And then it's also going to pop up the dialogue as though you clicked the sign. So it's sort of like you can buy from there. Not really. You still need a confirmation. So yeah, the way we need to fix this is by putting the cost in the signpost itself. We need to put this into signpost. It might not be hard. I haven't really put much thought into this yet. But we would just have something here. Oh, hey, there's a... What? What is this doing? Interesting. It's just for the build cost? Interesting. It's not for upgrading. What if we modified that? Get cost of next upgrade. What if we set that as the build cost? Maybe we just call it next cost. It's kind of dumb. I think it should just be called build cost. Cost of next upgrade. Yeah. I think I agree it'd be nice for the player to see all the available things to spend money on. Yeah, also I don't think it's gonna be too hard to do. If this was like, oh man, this is gonna cost a week to do, I think it'd be not worth it. But I think we can probably get this done in like 15 minutes. And I definitely think it's worth it. The issue here is we have this build cost and we're only using it upon the initial build. But then even build and upgrade sign is just ignoring it after that, right? Yes. Okay, so here's what I think we're supposed to do. I think we make, this public and virtual. Then move it up to the other one that we had like that. And then in build and upgrade sign, we override that. Public override long. Oh, why does it do that? There. All right, so the building is built, get the cost of the next upgrade. Otherwise, get the base build cost. Yeah, that should be good. Could call it rank or level. Get cost of next level, and going from 0 to 1. If you have none, we'll give the initial cost. Yeah, or even like get next build cost or something. I think could be fine too. And I might still do that. So I'll write this down. Consider renaming, what is it, build cost to next build cost to indicate that it's potentially for an upgrade. Also, welcome to the stream, Akriel. I'm pretty happy with it just being build cost, so I'm not totally sure. But this does mean that it doesn't just represent the build cost. So anyway, let's see. Now I need the sign to pull this in. We need to just close some of these. I have too many tabs open. All right, what is it called? Available buildings menu. Oh, it's just the 500 I need to fix. This. Sign post dot build cost. Yeah, consider only having a sign. I think that'd be smart. Hey, Glasgow. I know that you started streaming more than a year ago, but man, time flies. I know. It's gonna be crazy when you see this game launch, and then the next game, and then the next game, and then the next game. What is failing here? I must have accidentally deleted something. Uh-oh. What'd I do? What did I do? What happened here? It's got like a million errors, but I shouldn't have modified any of that. I should have just changed the cost of this thing. Let's set it back to 500. Did I make some other mistake here? Because it can't be caused by that. No, it has to be caused by that building sign stuff. So what did I do? Build cost. Build cost is set there. That's fine. Oh, because there's no... Oh, weird. Protected set, I guess. That might have been it. Is it still giving me the same wacky issues? What is going on? All right, let's clear this. And then let's try to rebuild. Because I'm not actually certain why I'm seeing this all happen. Fail to generate source. It will not contribute to the output and compilation errors may occur. Exception was the type null reference. Game.cs. What? Build and upgrade sign up. Build hides inherited member signpost up build. Oh my god. I just forgot to write this is override. Oh. I think I copy pasted from the parent class without realizing. Yeah. Okay. So now what's going on? Did I do the same thing here? No, upgrade should have been defined here. Oh, this can't be protected. It needs to be public, right? Yeah. Which means we now need to move it to a different spot. Signpost has it be public? No, it is protected here. Oh man, I don't know what I did. When you define protected, does that mean its value can't be changed? No, this is what's called a visibility modifier in object-oriented programming. So if you have a class, there are 3 visibility modifiers that you have. Well, technically 4, I guess, in C#, but typically public, private, and protected. So public means anyone can call this. Private means only the class defining this can call it. And protected means only the class defining it or any of its derived classes can call it. So imagine you have like an animal class and it has a, I don't know, like a protected void speak. So this means that the animal will have this. You probably want to make this virtual or even abstract. And then you might have like class cat, and cat could call speak. Cat could override speak. If you make this public, anyone can call speak and make the animal speak. Yeah, if you want to stop its value from changing, you would either use a constant or a read-only in C#. But ways of preventing modification. Yeah. What about protected? Yeah, protected is what I just explained about access modifiers. Yeah. Okay, so I am still unclear why I am breaking this. Let's have it print out over here, maybe. .NET build. I just don't get this. Also, is this even correct? No, none of this stuff is correct. It's failing somehow, and I don't know where it's failing or what I did to cause this. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to stash everything. So now I should have no changes, or the changes I have are not referenced at least. I'm going to build this. It had better work because now I have, yeah, I was going to say, I was in a working state originally, so it is working now. Now I'm going to pop the stash. And we're going to find out what I did to break this. It shouldn't be that hard to find. It can't be any of these scene files. Game constants, it definitely shouldn't be that. Free all children shouldn't have mattered. Public override string, buildings menu button text. Building is built. Yeah, what if we just didn't override this? I mean, it'll break the logic, but it hopefully won't break the build. It passed. It is that line of code. What? What? Okay, so it's this. So now if I try building, it's gonna fail. Yes. Okay, well, let's look at it. Build and upgrade sign. So it's here. Long build cost. Building is built. Otherwise, the base build cost. I still don't get it. Virtual long get protected set. Do I need? Oh, I've only overridden the getter. Oh. I think. No, wait, that shouldn't matter. Well, anyway, let's try it. Because who knows? I don't know what the syntax is for doing this. That's the problem. How do you just override one of these? Do you need new instead of override? I don't know. I thought we did this somewhere. And I don't even know how to search for this now. We need to search for like override being next to get. It's just like stupidly difficult. All right, override virtual property. Getter only. I guess I'll let this AI answer it for me. Get return derived value. So that should work. No. I still don't get why this is failing. Virtual long build cost. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. What if we simplified this and just said return 500? Like, is it because I'm accessing something else here? No. And what if I replace this with just that and got rid of the protected there? Okay, I'm so confused. I don't see what I'm doing meaningfully different from this. It's just a property here. I should be able to override part of that property, right? Huh. And yet commenting all this out makes it work. Yeah, and then the game starts up. So weird. Return base value. Oh, you think because it's an infinite loop? It shouldn't be, right? Because the base build cost won't represent this, but also even if that were true, it's like why would the get return 500 not just work? Like this should be fine. And it's failing, and it's not even commenting on the failure here either. Maybe something in their gen code. Yeah, maybe I should try a C# playground here and see if it's working there. Let me clear this stuff and try one more time. Because like I said, I don't think it's even printing out that it's failing here. It will not contribute to the output. Exception will type null reference exception. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. And then it just causes a bunch of cascading failures after that. Does it ever mention build cost in here? No, it doesn't. Yeah, maybe it is a Godot error. I don't know. Let's try it inside the C# playground. and then maybe comment on this. All right, so what do we have? We have a class. Let's just copy. It doesn't matter what. All right, so public class, base class, and then public virtual long build cost get set. Public class derived class, base class, public override long build cost get 500. All right, does that work? It does. So yes, I think this might be a Godot issue. What do we search for? C# virtual property. Overriding leads to errors in the generated code. Wow. Filed recently. All right, let's check out their zip file. 972 bytes. Where did it go? Here it is. This is not a minimal repro. You could have put all this in one file, right? Yeah, wow, weird. So you can't do this? Uncommenting this breaks it. It's so strange. Maybe they're using an older version of C#. I don't think that's it. Yeah, because we're using C# 8. So technically, I mean, I know I chose .NET 9. We should have chosen .NET 8 here. But I don't think it's a problem with that. Yeah, it works over here. I'll include this too. I just hit this issue myself. Did they include what they tested it on? Yeah. I think it's the same one that I'm using. Same Godot version, if I'm not mistaken. 4.3 stable mono official. They don't have the official next to it for some reason, but yeah, pretty much the same. With the same version of Godot. For reference, here's a working C# playground indicating that this should be fine in C# itself. Can I share this? Share. And then I'll just paste the code in. In fact, we don't even need this program here. We can just do this. Compilation does not contain main. Okay, no, we apparently do need it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna copy paste this in here. Let's preview that. I guess I don't need to call it build whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so what should I do instead? We could just make a backing variable and have like a set build cost function. Except for it's going to tell me to use a property in that case. Oh, man. Alternatively, maybe we do it the other way around. We make a protected long build cost. Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much. I think this is stupid. And then let's make a public long get build cost. It says use properties where appropriate, and I need to tell it I can't do that. Suppress. Suppressing due to this. Now it says remove unnecessary suppression. But that's, I got to figure out what's causing that because it's obviously not unnecessary or wouldn't have prompted me to clear it. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but all right, now everywhere we use build cost needs to be changed. So stupid. So stupid. All right, so this, we have a get build cost and it's got to return this thing now. Or we just set it whenever we upgrade. Yeah, we either override this or just set the property correctly. I think we can just set the property. Anytime this got upgraded. I'm gonna override it for now. I don't want to add a suppression with a suppression. That's a great idea. Okay, so public override this to be this. Good. Build cost. Then put this below the first protected function, or above it, I mean. Yeah, right here. All right, so this should build? No, it won't build because I didn't fix all the other build cost things. Yuck. Yuck. This should fix this part of this. Delete that, I guess. Yuck. All right, does it work? Now this is just get build cost. Hey, Cappy, what are you doing here? I am working on a game called Skeleseller. I can show it to you in just a sec. Just make sure all this stuff is good. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, all right, let's try running this. Man. Oh, well, looks like it's working. Yeah, it looks like it's working. How do we test this for real, though? We got to test it with a something that actually gets upgraded and has a cost. So the Enchanter's End, it says 100. Does it cost 100? Yes. And then when I build it, how much does it cost? 200? Does it say 200? It does. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, so this is the game. It's Skeleseller. You run a town. You hire adventurers. They do battle for you, and you sell their items. And a lot of it's automated. It's very casual. Excuse me, very relaxed gameplay. Not supposed to be super challenging or anything. I find myself wanting a game like this more and more. I've been playing a lot of games on Game Pass, and some of them are like in-depth, complicated games. And there's space for that. People like those kinds of games. But I don't want to play those games a lot of times after working. I want a game I can just kind of jump into, have enough depth, but not have super complexity right off the bat. Cost of the potion shop upgrade was incorrect. It was correct. I set it to 0 to test this out, so I didn't need to keep granting myself money. But it needs to be changed in the future. Where is it? There it is, yeah. Okay, so I believe this menu is now mostly correct text. Just clearly it says to do write the code for this, because when you click any of this stuff, it doesn't do anything. Wait a second, no, that's in a different spot. Where's that? Toggle buildings menu. Oh, I did write the code for that. Okay, what does the other message say? You click the button. Yeah, so what this needs to do is center the sign, center on the sign, which we can do. There's pan to location over time. Sounds good. Let's go put that over there. Click the button. Click the button. Where did I just put that? There. All right. And then also pop up its dialogue. So to do pop up the signs dialogue. Or do we not have the town here? Of course we don't. Of course we don't. Well, let's just save it for now. I'll do this in kind of the cheapo way. I also want to write myself a note that all this stuff I did with build cost should possibly be changed. Consider changing, this is what we're on right now. Consider changing build cost to be set to the upgrade cost rather than overridden in get build cost. All right, so town equals null. We'll set this here. We'll do this inside of an init function. There we go. And then we just need to initialize this from the town menu here. Yep, so just put this down here and do that in the right spot. Cool. So now we have the town. Now we can get this thing finally. And that means that this menu needs to pan to the signpost. Where's the signpost? Building.signpost. dot global position. Now, why is that a problem? Because I called it sign. Yeah. All right. Possible quality of life thing to write down. It might be nice if the buildings in the list were alphabetical or possibly sorted by cost. Yeah, that's a good point. Sort building available buildings menu by name or cost. I wonder which would make more sense. But for now, let's see. So now I should be able to click this and it should center the camera. Perfect. And over here it should center on the other one. And if I click this in the middle, it kind of plays a little bit of tug of war, but it seems to work. Random order. Even more chaos. Random order every second. All right, cool. Yeah. We need to fix the camera panning so it zooms out first, but yeah, this is working. And if we zoom out all the way, yeah, and then it snaps a bit slow. Yeah, this can definitely be improved. Yeah, I got to do that. But at the very least, this part of it is working. So now the only other thing we need to do is pop up the signs dialog. And what I mean by that is just the same thing as clicking this. So signpost should have a click handler, clickable area, mouse entered, clickable area input event. It calls setup dialog. So we're going to make this a public function. What else does it need to do? It needs to... Does it need to hide the label? Not really. It's just setup dialog if it's not already set up. In fact, let's just move that there then, right? Yeah. And then we can just make this public. And instead of setup dialog, we can call it show dialog. Yeah, I think it's fine. Show dialog. Excuse me, public. Now, where do we put that? Stupid suppressions. Yeah, there we go. All right, now we just call that from over in that to-do item right here. So building.sign.show dialog. All right, not too bad, not too bad. Let's try it out. Okay, so I click Town Hall. It opens up the Town Hall thing. Click Potion Shop Item Display. It opens that up. If I click it again, what happens? It knows it's already showing. So yeah, cool. It will move the camera every time. That's fine. All right, not bad. At this point, we're going to get into nitpicky territory, which we are going to enter for a bit, but not too long. So things like this button is a very long name. It's kind of small text. Little things like that, maybe we want to fix a bit. But otherwise, this is functional. This is way better than what we had before. Because the problem in the game is that a lot of the signs aren't obvious that they're there. If I just show all of them at once, these are obvious. You're probably looking here anyway. You're probably going to see these. They eventually spawn yellow particles. And if I speed this up, they get more and more in your face. So it's like, okay, you're probably going to see that stuff. What you're not going to see is the one way off in the corner, Build Explorer's Hut. You're probably not going to see these down here. And even if you see them, you might forget that they're there. And I have watched now several people play this game. Like either they were sitting in front of me playing or they were sharing their screen on Discord. And I know what people are focusing their attention on at the beginning of the game. And it's very hard to know what that is without watching those people because your attention changes over time with what context you have. So when you've played this game a million times and you click start battle, you probably aren't watching the battle anymore. You probably know what's going on and you're looking at the town again. But new players are watching the battle. They don't know what's going on in town. They don't know who these people are. And all that stuff either needs to eventually be clear just through watching it or the game needs to tell you. So yeah, this is where this buildings menu is really going to help. Maybe position a top left corner, build explorer hut with arrow pointing up and left. Well, so that's what we have this menu for now. That's where it's like, okay, well now you can see the explorer's hut is there. You can click it. It'll bring you to where it is in the world, and it'll pop up its dialogue saying that you can just build it. So then you click build, and there it is. And even this, the dialogue you get from this character will eventually show up in the next button that we add. Okay, so for buildings to exist means it would always be a green button, and then these need to be made green. So I think it's just like little styling changes and stuff. I think we can actually do this after lunchtime to get back into coding. Need to make buttons green in the build dialog, in the new build dialog. We have signs, cost, cleanup. So we need build cost to be this. Sort it. And then what else did I say? Maybe make the buttons slightly bigger or just less ugly somehow. Sometimes games they put a label and an arrow. Yeah. And I think for a lot of games that can make sense. In this game, I don't remember how much that cost. This is probably a cheap building, but if it were an expensive building, you wouldn't want it showing up all the time. You'd want some way to know that it's there. And I think that's where this menu will help. I think the other thing is we're going to have quite a convention here of anything that's green is something you can interact with. So in this case, hire adventurer, you have enough money, 75 gold, but you have 106. So when you don't have enough money, let's say I go and build this shop, now this is no longer green. So eventually we're going to make buildings turn green, and you'll be able to see at a glance like, okay, I can afford this one and this one. And then you have to figure out, what do you want to afford? That's hopefully fun for the player to do. Or what do you want to build, I guess? Not what do you want to afford. You want to afford everything. Sort of by cost makes sense over alphabetical, as you're more likely to unlock the cheaper things first. Yeah, I think we can do that. Sort by increasing cost. Right? Cheapest things go on bottom. I think it's a good idea. Hey, Connery, what was your process for getting good at navigating code with just the keyboard? I think there are a couple things. One is discovering shortcuts. So there's a command palette in VS Code, but short of that, there's just these menus at the top. And let's say you see something here like go to file, and you're like, oh, that's really useful. At that point, you've now discovered it. The next step is to learn the shortcut and then use the shortcut. And learning it is dead simple, right? You just look at the shortcut. So in that case, it was Command P. But using it is maybe you find yourself using the mouse at first and you're like, oh, what was that thing again? Go to file. As soon as you've done this, go undo what you've done and now use the keyboard shortcut. So like force yourself to use the keyboard and bring awareness to when you're using the mouse for something. I think that's how you ingrain it in your memory. So yeah, it's that process. Discover that it exists, know what the shortcut is, and then find yourself using the mouse and stop it. And like I said, undo it. So let's say you were trying to learn how to type properly and I said something like, I'm going to the store. I typed that perfectly, right? But what if I use the wrong finger to type out the G? Delete the entire line and type the whole thing again and focus on using the correct finger for typing the words that you want. It's the same thing with keyboard shortcuts, I think. Do you customize shortcuts and hotkeys often? I wouldn't say often. It's typically when I start using a program, I try to set them to what I'm used to. But then, yes, I do tend to customize them. And I've inherited a lot of sort of keyboard shortcut cruft from past programs. So for example, what's a good example here? In Obsidian, I use something like Command B to close the sidebar. So I do this. For a lot of people, Command B and a text editor would be to bold your text. But yeah, not for me. It's close the sidebar. So yeah, little things like that, I guess. Green and maybe also an extra border or something for accessibility. Yeah, or an icon or something. That stuff I'm going to focus on a little bit later. But I do think that would be helpful. Yeah. Is this different? This is a different size. It looks like it's a different size, right? These buttons, they definitely are. And I don't know why. I haven't looked into that yet. But I think that's why this looks bad. Why it looks crowded. Like this size is not exactly 28. I knew I made it a little too big there, but this one's 21. This one is 26-ish. Yeah, so why the difference? The town menu has like 26 pixels in height for each button, but the new menu has 21. Oh, Connery, thanks for subbing. Welcome, welcome. Filter could be by name, cost, availability, level. Brand new here, so sorry if they were said already. Looks cool. Well, thanks, Eyeball. Yeah, I don't want to have a filter for this because at most there should only be maybe like 5 things showing. The reason why all of them are showing right now is because I cheated. So if I went back to the main game, started a new game here, you can see there are 2 options. It's because I have the potion shop and I can add an item display, and I have the town hall available. So you're not going to progress for too long and have buildings available and not build them. They're generally meant to be pretty cheap. Kasuf, thank you too for resubbing. I did not hear any noises. Yeah. I like the tip with typing. I would have the sentence and wouldn't notice. Yeah, it's mostly for people who are trying to learn a new layout or a new keyboard where you are focused on it because you just got this thing and you want to put some time into it. If you've been typing with the same keyboard and same layout for like 3 years, you're probably not paying attention where your fingers are going. Hey, Shorts. May have some internal margin. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. By the way, I'm only writing down what problems are. I'm not trying to fix them right now because I'm going to get lunch pretty soon. Why potion shop item display, not just potion shop? So this menu, you might be looking anywhere in the world and you might not know what this thing is at the time. So the potion shop itself is this. The item display is just the one new item display you'd be building. So for example, to show you from scratch, this is the armor shop. So it does show up as armor shop here. When I click it and build it, it now changes to armor shop item display because all you're getting is one new display. So I think it'll make sense when you're interacting with the game because it'll all be in context. But yeah, we couldn't just say item display because you might have multiple shops. Yeah, I don't know. And in the future, we could change this a bit. We could have like new buildings and upgrades to existing buildings. I don't want to spend too much time on that stuff, but maybe that actually is a good idea, just separating it like that. Like available purchases maybe, and it says new and upgrades. I'm not sure. Consider making the new dialogue say available purchases and have sections for new and upgrades. This wouldn't be work to do today for today, but it could be nice for the future. Will there be menu hotkeys? Yeah, there will be menu hotkeys, or at least for some of this stuff. So like M opens up the map, T opens up your adventurers, P I think opens up the town hall. Yeah, P opens up that. So yeah, some of these will have shortcuts, but will there be a shortcut for each individual button here? No, probably not. It'll probably just be B to open up that menu, which we don't already use. So yeah, that's another good idea. Make B open the buildings menu. Or toggle the buildings menu, I guess. Interesting. I think I'd like having 2 groups. I think so too. I think it would look nice. I don't think I'll do it for this Saturday. Again, for those who are just coming in, we're prepping for like 4 different things right now. And in order, this Saturday is going to be a UX session with a friend of mine. Then next Saturday is the same thing. UX session with another friend of mine. Then the 17th is going to be public launch of version 0.5. And then after that, and I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head, but it's Steam's Idler Fest and Steam's Next Fest. And I have the dates written down somewhere. So we're prepping for all of these things. And this is the one I'm trying to hit right now. It's just this Saturday, which obviously is 3 days from now. So this menu existing is going to be a big impact on his gameplay on Saturday. And if it didn't exist, I already know what kind of feedback I would get. Like, oh, hey, there's a sign there, and it'd be nice to see this somewhere up in the menu or something like that. Demo for Steamfest, yeah. Yeah, the demo is pretty much just going to be checkpoint 5 plus maybe some more like crash protection sorts of things. I'm not sure. Also, we have a lot of prep to do for that. Other things I've got to think about are like file a task for getting ready for the Steam events. will want to change the feedback survey in the game. Man, that'll be interesting. I've shown this before, but for each past checkpoint, I've produced a form that people can fill out. And there are some really basic questions here and then a long form question at the end. But something like, did you have fun playing the game? And then this one, how'd you find out about Skeleseller? Pretty much everyone who's ever answered this question has been like through your stream because it just doesn't have that much reach yet. But if I do post this on Steam for the festivals, I think very few people would answer that they know who I am or have followed me or anything. So that'll be really interesting because I think that's going to skew this answer. Like I think people, I don't think they're being dishonest necessarily, but they might be slightly more positive than they would be. If this were just some like no-name person, you never met them, you played this game and you're like, yeah, it's okay. You might be like, it was not fun. Whereas if you know me and you're like, I don't want to hurt his feelings, you might say it was fun. But yeah, all of this is working toward the larger goal of just launch the game completely. And I'm hoping that happens, I don't know, I keep saying Q2 of this year. Last thing I saw was milestone 1 or 2. A lot changed. I really like how the game evolved so far. Yeah, and a lot of it was due to user feedback. And not even necessarily large sweeping suggestions, but just small things like, hey, I'm confused by this or by that system. Or, you know how many people have said, I don't know how to, I'd love to have a respecialize option here. And I know this is really tiny right now. There's a minus button there, but you can also right click this icon. Like respecializing has been in the game since day one, but just a lot of people didn't know about it. So we still need to make it slightly more obvious. And I think what we're going to end up doing is just adding in a respec button, and clicking it can do literally nothing except for pop up a tooltip saying like, just right click one of your skills. Or it could reset all the points automatically. But yeah. Should also consider stopping the game at the second boss or something for the demo. Yeah. Ski, I'm definitely going to involve you a lot for that stuff. So you might want to write this stuff down. Because yeah, it's how much is a good demo that leaves you wanting more. And then when you finally play the game, it's not going to be like, oh, there's only 3 extra bosses. Like I practically already played the game then, right? This menu is thin and centered. Could there be a contextual menu to the window or context to the window on help? I see what you're saying. Can there be something over here that tells you about this? There is a way. Oh, wait, it doesn't tell you that. Huh. It definitely should have. I thought that the UI made it clear enough. Let me write this down. It could be worthwhile to. Well, wait. Do I already have something about the respec button or something like that? Yeah, this. Best thing to do is make it blindingly obvious. I think we should just add a reset skills button that says that this is free and can be done without this button by right clicking. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. Anyway, it's gonna be for later. So yeah, rest of today is gonna look like this. We're gonna finish the building stuff that we did, which like I said, is already usable. If I were to just check it in and show this to my friend on Saturday and be like, yeah, ignore the styling, I think he'd be totally fine. I think he'd understand how to use this. It would all make sense. But we're going to make some changes to this. And then we're going to add in the next button, which is the hints button at the bottom. The hints button has some sort of complicated logic behind it. I'm not even really sure it's super helpful. But we'll try making that. We already have the actual hints themselves in this dialogue. We just don't have the button. There's only one boss, and this boss is only in the demo. Yeah. I think figuring out the right demo length is important, especially for a game like this. And you know what would be kind of cool? If we had all of the buildings in the game, but we had a spending limit for you. So you can accumulate as much money as you want. You can end up with like, whatever, a gigantic amount of money. But what if we say you have a spending limit of like 3,000? So maybe what that lets you do is get some adventurers to level 4 and build 3 things. And you could choose which different adventurers if you play the game again, but you can never build everything. because it'll cost more than 3,000. That could be another interesting way of doing it. I don't know. Probably it's just get the players to a point where they're like, hey, that's a taste of the game, not some weird thing like a spending limit. So yeah, probably just cut out content. Yeah, I'll take the debug stuff out for sure. All right, well, thank you all for watching and Happy New Year. I'm going to go get lunch. It's about 12:18. I should be, I don't know, about an hour. I'll be back around like 1:20 or something. And then I'll stream for another 2 to 3 hours. And we'll just try to fix up this stuff. Then the next stream will be on Friday. And we're going to tackle any last minute prep that I think will make the game better for my friend on Saturday. Yeah, I don't think we're going to play a game right now. But some other time we will. But thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good New Year. See ya.